And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to DLC and I Really Want to Know podcast, man. Y'all know what it is. What's good? DLC, man. Welcome. Hope y'all are having a good Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, right? Yeah, today is Tuesday because yesterday my daughter told me she had a boyfriend. Y'all know my whole universe changed, right? I've been sharpening up my axes and all that. So welcome again. Welcome to the show. I noticed that. Um, but yeah, when she said that though, she's like, we talked about it yesterday at the beginning of the show. She's saying, Pop, I have a boyfriend. And I'm like, what? Only thing that popped in my mind when she said that,
Houston, we have a problem.
you know what I mean? Like, Houston, we definitely have a problem, Houston. So how y'all feeling? What's good? Welcome. Today is an open mic show, y'all. We're just gonna talk about whatever. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to talk about today. Couldn't just nail it down to one topic. So we got a range of stuff we're gonna talk about. If you got anything you want to say, yo, pop it in the chat. Any questions, any concerns, any whatever, pop it in the chat and let's talk about it. Yeah, we just gonna have some fun. You know what I mean? Brother Dinosaurs in the house, man. What's good, fam? How you feeling? She's like, holy brother DL, you got to watch back FNF last night. Myron has Ice Water for Blood, 6 Frank Castles. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I don't watch the late night shows anymore, man. I just don't. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That's where, the vast majority of the viewership over there of all the supporters, they love that the late night shows, all the dudes in the chat. I don't. But we are going to talk about what happened last night. I did catch some clips. I saw some stuff. I kind of looked through it. We're going to talk about that. And yeah, bro, it is what it is. Myron's much older. It comes from a very, very different background. And, actually we got a couple things I was going to talk about, Fresh and Fit. And then there's another conversation I wanted to spark, a quick conversation about Myron when he was in Dubai. He was on another podcast called Vibes with a brother-sister team. I don't know their names. I don't really watch their content, but they seem cool. Myron Fresh went on there, and we're going to talk about that as well. And we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about Mano, the rapper. I never knew who Mano was. I do follow Math Hoffa's show, My Expert Opinion, which I think is a great show. And I discovered who Mano was through that podcast, through that platform. And apparently some YouTuber stepped to him, bro. And we're going to talk about the difference in generations, y'all. Yeah, the way certain generations move compared to the way the other generations move, bro. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. He was supposed to get arrested today, but I don't think he did, to my knowledge. Y'all let me know if he did or not. And we're going to talk about bailouts. First Republic Bank looks like it's going to fail anyway, even though it got bailed out. Tons of money, tons of money, liquidity was given to them. I think they call it liquidity or whatever, to the tune of maybe 100+ billion, but it doesn't seem it's going to be enough. And we're going to talk about Russia and China if we have enough time. And so yeah, and then we got brother Dusto standing by. He already is like, man, he want to come up here and talk about some stuff. So we're gonna bring him up in a hot second. And he's asking me in the back chat, like, I assume you don't want to talk about the YouTube Dusties from World Class. Like, bro, when we do open mics, man, we can talk about whatever, bro. We want to talk about it, we can talk about it. I'm for real, man. We can definitely talk about that. So like when we, I don't know how often we're gonna do these shows. But if we're ever doing open mic, everything's on the table, bro. Nothing's off the table. We could talk about anything and everything under the sun. Sister Candace is in the house. What's good, sis? Good to see you. Welcome. I know Sister Candace saw that show last night, talking about the Fresh and Fit show. But we're gonna start with Donald Trump, y'all. We're gonna start with Donald Trump, and then we're gonna get into some more goodies. But you know what I mean? Like, Trump is, in the news. And last Saturday, he said that he was going to get arrested today, Tuesday. So I'm going to get arrested on Tuesday, whatever. And I just didn't understand why Donald Trump would say something like that, right? Like, why put that out there? You know what I mean? Donald Trump's, I'm going to get arrested on Tuesday. And he was telling people to, I don't know, be ready and to not revolt, but he's very careful with his words, but he's basically planting the seeds getting his base riled up, which could be a dangerous thing. You know what I mean? They can come out here and do something stupid and get themselves hurt, get themselves locked up. But anyway, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why would a guy do such a thing? But here's the thing: Donald Trump understands media, right? So here we are. It's Tuesday. Wall Street Journal is talking about him. CNN is talking about him. The New York Times is talking about him. The BBC is talking to him. Politico talking about him. You know what I mean? NBC News talking about this sort of thing. So was that just a publicity stunt? Because he didn't get locked up. They didn't come get him. The Hill's talking about it. Time is talking about it. Right? The headlines for Time, he betrayed us. Why Trump's call to protest is flopping. That's what he did. He had a call to protest. Hey, protest. They're going to lock me up, protest. Or they're going to arrest me, protest it. BBC News, why Trump supporters are wary of joining protests he called for. Bloomberg, right? They're not talking about Trump. They're talking about something else. I think he did it for media attention. I think that's what he did it for. And we got Scam Likely with us. What's good, fam? How you feeling?
What's going on? Multitasking with him here. What's good?
I ain't mad at you, man. We just talking about Donald Trump. Last Saturday he announced that he was going to be arrested today, Tuesday, and it didn't look like it happened. But New York and DC all braced for protests. He was calling on his supporters to stage a protest. Doesn't look like he got arrested. And I couldn't figure out why he would say something like that. First of all, the way it works, people, if the police coming to get you, they don't tell you in advance. They just come get you, right? That's not how it works. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times when it's like, all right, you're already under investigation or something like that. They'll tell you, all right, we have an indictment. When do you want to come and surrender yourself to us? You might get that. But, he was like, they're going to arrest me. And I'm like, we're talking about the state of New York. I don't even know where Trump is. Like, I know he's not in New York right now. He's like traveling the country, campaigning. So you got any thoughts on that, bro? Why would you think that Trump will make such an announcement?
Because somebody's willing to listen to it. I mean, just all the way from Trump to YouTube, there's certain people, when they say something, there's someone willing to listen and believe and buy into anything that's said or get wrapped all into it. And it's like you said, all the magazines, all those articles wrapped up into it. Maybe that's what he wanted. He got the result.
Straight publicity stunt, huh? Hey, it could be it. That could be it. Sister Rollins is in the house. What's good, love? How you feeling? As of about 30 minutes ago, number 45 has not been arrested. They'll arrest him when we don't expect it. There's not even going to be an arrest, y'all, to keep it 100. He's a president. Like, you can't get arrested, processed and put in the holding tank when you have Secret Service security detail. You know what I mean? So whatever's going to happen is unprecedented. And if they were to do something like this, in my opinion, the worst he can expect is to be, they're going to take his picture. Maybe you get the mug shot, which I doubt, but okay, you get the mug shot. They take your fingerprints. The Secret Service is there. And then he goes back to wherever he's going to go. And then maybe there's maybe a judge orders him under house arrest. I think that's the worst that he can expect, but it's not going to be you kicking in the door, handcuffs and all that kind of stuff, man. But so I think you're right though, Dusto. I think they're going to simply, he's going to use this for as much media attention as he can get out of it.
Yeah. Is there a warrant for his arrest?
Nah, there's no, he's the thing is they think he's going to be indicted. So he hasn't even been indicted yet. So we'll see.
Yeah. He's just talking there.
Yep. Sister Candace is saying, not sure you've seen my commentary on your latest Trump videos shorts. I haven't, sis. If you just put that in there, I haven't. But he sends these dog whistles to his supporters under the guise of peacefulness. He does. Yep, I agree with you, sis. He's like trying to rile them up. I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying there, Dusto?
No, I won't say that.
So yeah, man. So that's the Trump thing, man. I was like, all right, let's scratch that off the list. So brother Dusto and I, Scam Likely, we were on the World Class. Shout out to Brother Noble. We were on the World Class. He has a show with Sister Lexi a few days back. And I think Dusto wants to talk about that a little bit. kind of break it all the way down. Explain what the show is about and all that kind of stuff. Give everybody a picture of what we're talking about here.
I'm gonna just try to keep it simple, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn around. Here's how it is. Because I always talk about people not being able to critically think and see beyond the surface level, just in life and in conversation. YouTube knows that, so they're taking advantage of these robots and creating these robots. So, world class, cool dude, pretty intellectual. I was there, Poppy Blanco, just regular people who are in this space. DL Saint, fair person, and there was some pretty ladies on the panel. And to us, it's just some pretty ladies hosting the panel. We just chilling, just talking Saturday night, having a conversation. The topic was weird dudes in these spaces. And we were talking about why there's weird dudes in these spaces and what it is. That was the topic. Sure enough, here comes Johnny Dust and Crust. He hops on the platform and starts talking and asking questions and like, we don't know him. So just common sense on common communication 101. When you go to an unfamiliar space, you introduce yourself. You introduce yourself, you test the temperature of the environment, and you adapt to the environment before just asking questions and stuff. In emotional intelligence 101, active listening is like 60, 70% of emotional intelligence. So dude comes in, starts talking, some dust. It's like, oh God. Then the person who's running the show, whose show it was Lexi, a female. Then here we go. Y'all listening to a female. Y'all simps. You pander. You know, the script. You're acting emotional. You're simple. You're simping. You're pandering. So we began to start taking shots at him because he won't pass the microphone. Another thing, you can't listen if you're talking. Then eventually, World Class comes up and kicks him off the panel after trying to reason and have a conversation. So if you can't talk to women, it's okay. That's the time where you actually spend listening and finding people who can, or just asking questions and trying to learn how to talk to a woman. But what you don't do is go and take shots at men who do know how to talk to women. Take shots at the women and knowing you have a platform that has no women on it. So these guys go and start their own show, taking shots at every one of us. Look at this simp over here. Look at this one over there. These dudes. Results speak for themselves. Communication is basic. We know who you are.
Yeah,
we know. People with money know what money looks like and know what money talks like. People who can talk to women know what that sounds like. Usually they'll be talking and women will be listening, kind of like what happened on the panel prior. Men talking, women listening, women talking, men listening, and people actually doing this, smiling.
Like, bro, so what Dusto was telling you is the truth, y'all. Like, we were on this panel, and these guys, we're talking about weird dudes in the space. And we were kind of talking about like the manosphere, red pill, black pill kind of space. A lot of these guys, and we talk about this all the time. A lot of these guys, they're deficient, right? They don't know how to talk to women, and it's their fault. But when you come to the manosphere, you can find an echo chamber that's going to tell you, no, it's not your fault. It's her fault. You know what I mean? It's not you, it's her. It's not you, it's them. You know what I mean? You can find that. And a lot of dudes find comfort in that because they don't have to hold themselves accountable, right? It all boils down to accountability. And then you have guys who come in, to these YouTube spaces and they want to talk to women. This is how they want to shoot their shot, so to speak. It's kind of hilarious, right? Young guys who haven't done the work, anything like that, right? So this guy came on there and he has, like, you can see Scam Likely, and you can't see it on the screen, but Scam Likely has an avatar. It's a picture of him. It's kind of like when I turn my camera off, there's that picture of there's this picture here that I have with the angel with the sword or whatever. I mean, I rarely just do a show with the camera off. I normally show my face. This is I'm just that way. I'm the type of dude, I'm gonna show you who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. This is how I get down. But this guy wouldn't show his face. He just has this animated emoji of his face. And like Dusto told me that this guy's on his platform talking crazy or whatever. I went over to check out. It took me a while to find it. they have one of those names that's so generic. It took me a long time to find their platform. I found a platform and I kind of went through their history. Like, dude's been doing YouTube for like 6 years.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God.
Yeah,
6
bro.
years?
See, he got like 6 years of, his content he's posted 6 years ago. And then when you go way back there, the first few podcasts or whatever he did, it was like he would show his face. And once I saw that, I realized why he uses an animated emoji. And I'm like, you know what?
Oh,
This ain't even worth like, all right, young dude, good luck to you, player. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm in a way different bubble. So I was kind of like, man, whatever. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of men out there who need leadership. They're lost. And, hey, bro, if y'all watching this right now, you and your homeboy, I can help you. You know what I mean? You can holler at me, bro. I can help you. It's going to cost you. You're going to have to invest in yourself now. I'm not going to do it for free. You know what I mean? A lot of these dudes out here, they don't, they're afraid to invest in themselves and stuff like that. But this is why I'm real particular where I go in these YouTube trenches. Some places just aren't worth, going. And like guys like this, they're like in the no man's land, right? They're just out there. They have a following. I think they have like 2,000 subscribers, and the guys who rock with him. And that's cool. Like, you got your supporters, they rock with you. And the guys over there, they're just anti-woman. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're anti-woman. I would classify these dudes in that black pill space. You know what I mean? I think they identify with that whole MGTOW movement, and they should go their own way. You know what I mean? Go, take a time out, man. Go over there, sit down, figure it out. Right? You got a lot of work to do before you're trying to do a podcast, bro. You should be out there, get yourself another job, get out there, work on your body, work on this. You know what I mean? Get out there, get your confidence up, man. You can do it, bro. You can do it. I'm sure you smashed some girls. I'm pretty sure you're not a virgin. You coming up from the hood. It's pretty sure you ain't got some of the hood candy. I know I have coming up.
DL.
Yeah.
There are people from the hood and the thugs and Pookies and Ray Rays that simp. Some of them even simp harder than the regular incels do. There's gangster simps.
There's gangster simps, but yeah, absolutely. And again, it's that's their game. Like they're simps. Most dudes are gonna do that. Most dudes they're gonna throw other guys under the bus. They're gonna do whatever they can to get that attention from the woman. It is what it is. That's why these dudes, they love school, they thrive in school, they go to work. You know what I mean? There's dudes who just like when the pandemic hit and people couldn't go to work, that destroyed a lot of dudes' game. You know what I mean? They can't get into the workplace. They can't get into the friend zone. They can't get attention because they're no longer at work. So it is what it is. And again, I'm not trying to talk down to these dudes or anything like that, but y'all got work to do, fellas. Just telling you as an old dude, I'm just letting y'all know y'all got work to do. You know what I mean? Like, and you waste your time on the podcast, bro. Get out there and start getting it. Get into the gym. Get that money. You know what I'm saying? Get your living situation together. Do that first before you worry about coming over and trying to expose women or, give your take on it. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is, bro. Your priorities are off, fellas. Y'all priorities are off. But keep doing what you're doing. 6 years, man. Hey, keep rocking with it. I've been doing this a little over a year. You know what I mean? So keep rocking with it. But messing around, see what happens when you mess with dust, though, bro. He's gonna have you on these, you know what I mean? He's gonna bring the dust mites around, bro. Why you bring them dust mites around?
I could be worse, but honestly, I mean, I've rotisserie plenty of people in the spaces, but it gets old. And it gets to be sometimes where it's not funny because some of these people have kids. And I'm seeing these people multiply. So for every one of these that we troll and we roast, 3 more are in the making. Listen to the YouTube talking points, or the talking point mafia, and falling victim to it. But this isn't supposed to be operating in your feelings. You got a feeling that you hate women or you're mad at this, so you go look for some kind of coddling and comfort. And they say, no, it wasn't your fault. It was the women. It was this. It was the white man in the system. You're supposed to be going looking for a solution. And understanding that what problem do you have in the mirror that you can fix? You can't control everything, and everybody doesn't win all the time. But what are you doing to fix yourself so you can have a better outcome? And hey,
all solutions begin with the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror, right? That's where it all begins. Like you got to self-assess. You got to look at yourself. Okay, what is it I'm doing wrong? What is it I'm doing right? And double down on the good and do away with the bad. That's where it starts, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? When I, the time I spend in the manosphere or the red pill space, quote unquote, wherever you want to call it, that's what I take away from it. When I talk to these young men, this is what I tell them. And if I talk to women, if they ask me, I'm saying, listen, for real, like, okay, what can you do better? Well, what do you mean? It's him, it's this, is that. It's like, oh, well, you're the common denominator, right? Same as me. I'm the common denominator. Anything that's gone wrong in my life, and it's because of me. I got to deal with it. So, and that's what I tell these young men. If you're sitting in a position where you're a victim, you're going to sit back and point at the other people. That, you're wrong. If you want to join the ranks of the black pill folks, go right ahead. You know what I mean? Go right ahead. But don't come over here. Stay over there. Stay over there with all the victims. Don't come over here with the folks who are trying to do better, people who are trying to step up. Don't come over here with leadership if you're not willing to follow the lead. Not do what they say, just do as they're doing. Get out there, pick yourself up, get your own bread. If you're not willing to do that, then it can't nobody help you, man. So I'm gonna blame Dusto. I'm gonna put it on Dusto, man. It's his fault. Bringing it, you know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
So yeah, man. Anything else you wanted to touch on? Because I know you got to get, you got some stuff coming up.
No, I'm good.
So I know you want to do that show. You were talking about doing a show when we talk about people who lose themselves in the numbers when it comes to relationships and the sexual marketplace and dating strategies, bro. I think that's a good idea, man. We should do that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it next week.
All right, you let me know. We'll do it next week, y'all. And I'm telling you guys, that's a show you guys are going to want to see, because I am a numbers guy. I think there's a place for numbers, but every time I bring up numbers, Dusto's like, oh. And he starts getting into his thing, bro. I'm like, man, but I think that'll be a good conversation, man, but I get his point though. You can't wrap yourself up in the numbers and say, well, I'm never going to be anything because of this. The numbers say so. Like, nah, man, that's not right. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's make that happen, man. Let me know when you're free, bro. We'll do it next week. I got every day free, Monday through Thursday. You just pick the day and we'll make it happen.
Cool.
Appreciate you coming by, bro.
Yeah, you can drop me down. I'm chilling in the chat and trolling and start trolling Marcus and Candace.
Why you about to start trolling Marcus and Candace? Okay, well, that's for you, man. Thanks for coming. All right, bro. I'll see. Go ahead. Troll away, my friend. Troll away. Shout out to Dusto. You know what I mean? King of the trolls. And we do have Brother Marcus in the house, my favorite devil dog. What's good, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. That's one thing about YouTube that I'm kind of getting used to, man. Like, I enjoy hearing everyone's opinion. You know what I mean? I really do. I want to hear these things. I really want to know. So this was the first time I came across this sort of event, that this guy came on, very well-spoken dude, has a really good voice, but I was shocked. Like, you won't show your face. I don't understand that. And it was, kind of condescending. Like, the way he was moving definitely had an agenda. And it just didn't make sense to me. But again, I learned from that experience. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate the dude for teaching me that, man. And Brother Dino, so the dude's real young. I would say he's in his 20s. I hope he's in his 20s. If he's older, if he's in his 30s, man, that's definitely a problem. But I think he's a young cat. Don't know where he's from. My guess would be the Midwest. I'm thinking somewhere in the Detroit area, just based on the clothes I saw him wearing and the way he was talking. The dialect, again, you got to go way back into dude's archive to see this stuff. He used to have his face on film, on camera, but he stopped doing that. And I can see the reasons why he stopped doing that. But again, go out there, work on yourself, man. Go out there and work on yourself. So, but to be honest with you, bro, I don't know exactly how old he is. And I doubt if I'll ever sit on a panel with a dude like that. So here's the thing, bro. When I'm out here moving around on different platforms, if I'm on people panels, if I see someone on a panel that I know, like, Brother Dusto calls him Dusty or whatever. If I see somebody in a panel that I know is like, I'm not really trying to be involved in a conversation with this particular person, I get off the panel. Simple as that. I thank everyone. I tip my hat, salutes to everyone. Good job. And I'm out. That's how I do it. I don't sit around and wait I don't want to be around. I don't want to be present for the train wreck, bro. I don't want to be present for that. Sister Candace, there are a lot of insecure men and people in general out there. Yes, there is. The way in which we communicate now has made it easier and more acceptable to hide behind a screen and present to the world a person you are not, but rather who you might like to be. Facts, sis. That's exactly what we're dealing with. It is so easy to do that these days. So easy to go out there and be the person you've always wanted to be without putting in any work. You just put up your Mickey Mouse emoji or whatever emoji, you put up a animated, rendering of yourself that looks really good, and you might not look that way in real life, but you can hide behind that picture. And you can try to be, okay, well, I'm going to be the next Kevin Samuels, which is what I think, not just this guy, but most people out there, they're trying to be the next Kevin Samuels, or they're trying to be the next Fresh and Fit. This is what they're trying to do. And in the process, I mean, there's money to be made. If you get monetized and stuff like that, there's definitely money to be made. So, there's that. And I think there's more room. There's so much room for everybody. You know what I mean? Brother Dusto, like the dummy even had the nerve to say he was emotionally intelligent. Yeah. And we don't. Like, he has emotional intelligence and we don't. Yeah, he did say that. I was just kind of sitting there. You know what I mean? It was what it was. I'm not even going to bring up the stuff like there are clips out there, y'all. It's not worth it. Trust me. When I tell you it's not worth it, it's not worth it. But now that we're done with that part, let's talk about what happened on Fresh and Fit last night. And I'm pretty sure that Sister Candace was there moderating, because she is the monster mod over there. So there was a young lady over there, and first of all, shout out to Fresh and Fit. Shout out to Waka Flocka. I don't even know. I know Waka Flocka is an entertainer. I want to say he's a rapper, producer. I don't know. I've probably heard his music. It probably kicked it to it. Just didn't know it was him. But in the early show was an interview, just Myron and Fresh and Waka, and it was a really good interview. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, so shout out to him. Of course, as always, shout out to Myron and Fresh doing their thing. When you have a celebrity of this type of caliber, the late show is going to be full of women, because it's an opportunity. Let's keep it 100. There's a star. Here we go. We got a legit star on the platform. I can get on this, sit around this table, be next to him. That's going to be clout. They had the table full. The couch was full. They had a full house. Lots of women. No flaking. They're like, oh, Waka Flocka's going to be on the show. They're going to be there. And they were there. As big as Myron and Fresh's platform is, like, more than 1 million. Hey, Sister Candace, what's the count? Or anybody, what's the count right now on the subs over there with Fresh and Fit? Last time I checked, it was like 1.2 million. As big a platform as it is, most people in the world still don't know who Myron and Fresh are. They don't know what the Fresh and Fit podcast is or is about. It's just these women like, ooh, opportunity to be sat next to a star. I want to be on that show. They get on the show. Apparently, a woman got kicked out. One of the girls got kicked out because of her views on body count. 1.28 million. Yeah, they got about 1.28 million and growing over there. They're doing really good. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. So you got this show going on. This woman is mad. They're talking about body count. And we all know, anyone who watches Fresh and Fit, the late night show, it's the same stuff over and over again. But it's new to the women who are on the show, because these young girls, they don't research it. They don't even, I'm going to be on a Fresh and Fit show. I'm going to be on some podcast. They don't even know where they're going to be sitting. They don't go and do any research. And they get on the show, they hear information that shocks them. And you're dealing with, a guy like in Myron Gaines, who's just like, yo, I'm only going to give you so many opportunities. So apparently some young girl got triggered or whatever and was kicked off the show. It was what it was. People who watch it know what I'm talking about. They call it the Frank Castle, that she got kicked off the show. Walker was sitting there. And this is where we're going to pick up on the video. Let's check this out.
Yeah, we got to get away from like giving people, outs for being retarded. Like, if I'm saying facts about men and women are physically different and men are physically superior to women, it's like, well, not really. Show me the studies. Like, we got to go back to telling people they're stupid. The only reason she was able to come on the pod and say the ridiculous things she was saying with her dumbass friend is because we don't tell people they're stupid anymore. We need to go back to bullying people, letting them know, no, that's not really how the world works. You sound dumb. Change your way of thinking. But we don't bully people no more and tell them they're dumb. We need to go back to doing that. live in a very pussified society where everyone thinks what they say is
I
valid.
agree. I preach
that's
that all the
ridiculous.
time. I agree with that.
That's why
Now, this view, this is Myron Gaines's view. This hasn't changed since day one. This is who he is. Like, I spend a lot of time hanging out with these cats. You know what I mean? Yes, the camera is on. Yes, it's a little more in your face. You know what I mean? Because this platform, let's face it, this platform has been very lucrative for Myron and Fresh. You know what I mean? But Myron is telling the truth. Like, when he deals with people, he's very, very polite, upfront, very respectful, upfront. But if you start talking crazy, if you start, you know what I mean, giving disrespect, he's going to walk away from you. He's going to say, leave. That's real life. He does this in real life. And he clearly stated his position and articulated it real clear right here. When I was growing up, if you said something or did something stupid, people told you, man, that's dumb. That's how it works. Like, that's stupid. That was what it was like growing up in the 70s, going to school in the 80s. We had mean teachers, quote unquote, mean teachers, mean coaches. But what they were doing was trying to get the best out of us, right? Even in the military, y'all seen all the movies, drill sergeants and stuff like that, right? You watch Full Metal Jacket. Watch the first half of Full Metal Jacket. What do you think? Lee Irving was a drill instructor. That's what he did in the United States Marine Corps. It's me. That's how it works. So when I hear his statement about, you know, when you act stupid, you say this stuff, you belong on a short bus, I get it. I was told that by grown-ups. So I learned at a very young age, man, you better know what you're talking about or keep your mouth shut. Learn, right? Listen before you speak. Understand where you are. But that's not the case anymore, is it? So we heard what Myron had to say. So let's look at what Walker had to say. And before you do, me read Sister Candace chats. In retrospect, I think less is more. Regarding the larger panels and the big name guests, you tend to get more intentionally disrespectful and masculine women who ruin the quality of the show. True. Yeah, you cannot deny that. We often see big name guests leaving the pod early because either they wholeheartedly disagree with the message slant messenger, or they leave because they cannot be openly tied to the truth slant RP. Right. They have to look out for their careers. And I'm gonna point some stuff out, so we're gonna look at this. Absolutely right. Sister Rosalind, I can't watch their content after Charleston White sends up my blood pressure. However, these girls need to prep beforehand. Hilarious. And Sister Robinson, what was your disagreement with Charleston White, with the Charleston White interview? Yeah, and I'll let y'all go back and forth. Brother Hayoka's in the house. What's good, man? Good to see you, fam. We're over here having just an open talk. So let's watch. So we heard what Myron had to say. Let's watch and see what happened.
What I was saying before.
I'm sorry, I disagree, bro.
I disagree.
I'm gonna be honest, nigga. I'm a real nigga, right? And I would never make a woman. I don't give a fuck
100%.
what you say.
Hold some
King,
space.
I'm respecting you on your show, nigga. That's wrong.
That
I
is
disagree.
wrong.
Of course, because you got an opinion. I'm a real nigga.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck what she said. I'm different from you. I would have never let her get a butt skin. I would have just, if I feel like you're a clown, I'm gonna give you the circuits, and I'm gonna throw a lion on stage with you.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we gonna sell popcorn because we can make it all merch. But he's right and he's wrong for a fact, because there's a whole group of other men that don't feel like that. But he's right. That's the way men in the past used to think. But like everything else, you got to transition. You have to evolve with your opinions. Some women go too far with that shit, and that's why I got my man on ice like it, because women is pulling. Oh no, men make us feel sexy. Men, nah, that's bullshit. Some of that shit, I'm telling you, it's bullshit to the popular demand. You get what I'm trying to say? Some people use these.
So right off rip, you see Walker's coming. He's stating his position. He's like, yo, these are two men, two powerful men who's sitting there. Listen, Walker ain't no little cat. This a real dude. He really came out of came out the mud. He came out the trenches. He's hood 100. He made himself into something. It was a very long road. And I don't even know this man's story, but I can tell by the way he carries himself. And the fact, I was talking to my brother about this. My brother's like, yeah, man, he don't move with security. He a real dude. And I can get that. I was able to make that determination watching the earlier interview. And you look at this back and forth. He does not agree with Myron's technique. He does not. right? But at the same time, he's like telling him, like, I get where you coming from. So let's continue.
These quotes and shit to their advantage to make money or to
Mhm.
advance in their career. I'm just saying that, but
I disagree. I think when people say things that are stupid, they need to be called out, man or
I
woman.
agree. If you
because-
say stupid shit, you
Well,
did.
I'm
And
speaking
that's my
straight
thing
facts.
is you got to call out stupidity, even if it's a man or a woman, because the thing is that we live in a world nowadays where we're scared to correct women and tell them that was dumb. You probably shouldn't say that. And it is what it is. Then they get on a platform and embarrass themselves in front of 30,000 people. So my thing is, I think both genders need to be held accountable regardless. So
I
There's
think
different
something
ways
stupid.
of telling somebody they're stupid
I
or
think-
making someone's
think-
opinion
You don't have to bust.
valid.
Oh no, she came on for a show, so she got a show, pretty much. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
what it is.
Mhm.
but I mean, here's the thing, and I was being very patient listening to her talk her
Yeah.
points, but she didn't make any valid points. I mean, you said that she made a valid point. I'm still trying to.
No, like bearing between women, like she was basically saying like it shouldn't matter between men and women about body counts. That's all she was saying.
And
That's
it
the only thing.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
Okay, but we don't operate on what should and could.
but she's gone now, so it don't even matter.
So like, and that's the point I was trying to make earlier. Like, why?
And then it gets back to the regular show. Now we see why. Okay, well, what happened here? Well, you know, it's about body count. And I didn't watch the show, but I can pretty much guarantee how it went. Body count shouldn't matter. And then, you know, Myron and Fresh, or if whatever dudes are on there, they're gonna tell you, now body count does matter to certain men. Right? If we've established that you want the top tier guy, you want the best of the best, and you're 23 years old, and you have a body count of 50 plus, and if that guy finds out that you got a body count of 50 plus, or he finds out that you have a OnlyFans, or he finds out that, you know, you're an exotic dancer, right? Oh, you know, he sees these things like this is all on the internet, this and that. He's not gonna. Chances are that guy's not gonna wife you up. Now he'll have fun with you, whatever, because you sexy, and you free with yourself and this and that. Yeah, he'll whatever. You want to do that, but the body count does matter, right? But a lot of people get so upset. And the thing is, they never say like your body count. They're just talking in general. I mean, you can kind of tell the people who push back. You can kind of tell why they're pushing back. But let's continue.
Why is it that men aren't accepted, right, on certain things? But if a guy says, well, we don't accept women for this, it's like, oh, it shouldn't be that way. Like, y'all aren't going to accept a dude that's 5'3" and broke and lives with his mom. Why should we accept a hoe?
Y'all wouldn't accept a girl that's 300 pounds.
Exactly.
The reality is a girl that's 300 pounds still has more options than even an attractive man.
Facts. Look at Tinder.
That's the truth.
They're horny.
Women are accepted no matter how they behave, men are not. So if a guy puts just like maybe one, you know, prerequisite to be in a relationship, okay, I don't want a girl that's a hoe. Oh, that's misogynistic. Is it really though?
But what if he's a hoe?
Men are hoe makers. Women are the
Yeah,
hoes.
but then how
And this conversation that they're having right now is standard conversation on Fresh and Fit. Standard conversation. Ladies, if you're out there, if young women out there, even the older women, if you're out there and you're thinking about getting on the Fresh and Fit podcast, this is the type of conversation that you're going to be confronted with. They're going to hit you with numbers, right? They're going to hit you with stats, right? So if you really want to go on there, and if it's your, you know what I mean, your goal is to go on there and debate, well, come with your numbers, come with your stats, come with your research, not your feelings. Because that's how the platform works. Like when I talk to people about stuff and I'll present numbers, I'll present stats, you know, and then if I'm talking to someone and they present numbers and they present stats, I'm like, okay, I'll accept your number. But let's continue, you know, we'll continue the conversation and we'll talk about it. And then, you know, even if we just agree to disagree, we'll still have the dialogue because there's no feelings involved, right? We all understand what we're talking about. So, you know, and again, I had this conversation with my family today. I talk about, you know, with my close people, the people in my circle, we talk about Fresh and like Myron and Fresh and Fit. And it's like, yo, I'm not mad. I get it. You know, I get it. 100%, I get it. So let's continue. We're going to see what Walker does.
how are you the hoe, right? How is your past being a hoe? And how come you don't want a hoe, like a girl that's a hoe, but your
okay, let
girl-
me ask you this. Are men and women the same?
no.
Okay, we're different, right?
Yeah.
Is
But
it
what
easier-
what does a body count have to do with
Well,
men and,
I'm getting
and
there.
women?
I'm getting there logically.
You're sticking it into her and she's allowing you to. So how is
Okay.
that a
Is
difference?
it easier for a woman to get laid or a man to get laid?
I think it's both.
No, it's
Incorrect.
easier
Oh,
for
that's
a
a
woman.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
I just said
for a
earlier, 1 in
woman.
3 men is a virgin or hasn't had sex.
And again, this is how it goes. Like she states her point. She hasn't really thought about it. She's thinking about her own personal experience, right? And they say that's anecdotal. Well, in my experience, in her experience, is like, well, I can get dudes, and the dudes I go after, they get chicks, right? All right. Look at her. She's a beautiful young woman. She's sexy. She's in Miami. She's only going after the top tier guys. Those guys, yes, they do have choices. She doesn't see the guy working at CVS. She doesn't see the guy working at Starbucks. She doesn't see the guys out there washing her car. She doesn't see them dudes. She doesn't see the dudes on the bus driving by her as she's sitting in her car, driving down the street or whatever. She doesn't see, you know what I mean, the guys making tacos, you know what I mean, the taco truck. Right. So when you look at when the numbers come out, like Myron and Fresh are talking about all men, like they're looking at the 10,000 foot view. She's looking at her view. And you see, like, she's Saudi, and her and the sister sitting next to her were both catching the vibe, right? They know that they were like, oh, Walker, yeah, well, he said, yeah. But they also know, like, they're the only two women at the table, like, you know, feeling this way. You know, I think the other woman that got kicked out probably felt that way too. But let's continue.
Sex from 8:30.
So
Women don't
are
have that
women.
problem.
There's women that are virgins.
Hold on, real quick.
By choice.
Hey man, this love,
got
man.
it.
I got
No worries, bro.
I like that.
It's great.
Thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
IG.
Bye.
Okay, body count for men. You fucked up.
Flocka flocka walking out.
This girl don't want no hoe.
All right, bro.
I fuck.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Scoot over. Scoot over.
So
Please,
what
my
I was
leg's
saying was,
stuck.
And look what, and right away, right? He left. He got there. He was like, all right, that's enough. I gotta go. I'm out. Right? Said what he had to say. He got up. You know what I mean? And what did he say on the way? Like, I don't want to use the real words because, you know, YouTube is crashing. They're crashing on the curse words, man. They crashing hard. So he hit up Fresh. I rock with you. He hit up Myron. I rock with you. Use the F word though. I rock with you. And he was telling the women, you know, he was saying what he said about body count. He's like, yeah, there's a lot of women out there that don't like dudes with high body counts. Okay. You know what I mean? But he left. He just kind of, all right, I'm out, y'all. Peace. No problem. Right. And you know what I mean? Like, shout out to him for doing that. You know what I mean? That's what shout out to Rocka Flocka for being a real dude with it. He a real dude with it. So yeah, man. You know what I mean? And that's why we dropped that's why I dropped the link in there, yo. If you guys have any, again, we're talking about anything today. It's an open mic. This is the open mic show. We're talking about anything and everything today. But I wanted to bring that up because I thought that was real cool how that went down. You know what I mean? Do you see how men handle it? Like, ladies, they get out of pocket. They get mad. They want to throw stuff. They say all these things. They want to swing on you. They don't want to leave. They sit there. You know what I mean? I got to put my shoes on. I got to go to the restroom. I got to do this. I got to do that. Leave. Guys, just get up, man. I ain't rocking with this. I'm out. He just get up and walk out. Ladies, if you're going to the Fresh and Fit podcast, or if you're going to do whatever podcast, if you're going to do, you name the podcast, Purple Pill podcast, if you're going to do just Pearly Things, if you're over in UK, if you're going to do some of these podcasts, understand that you're not going to get coddled a lot of the times. A lot of people are going to challenge your beliefs. So you're going to have to know what you're talking about and be able to defend it. You know what I mean? You're going to have to be able to defend it. So and you should act like that. Like, if you get to a point, like again, like I said earlier, if I'm on a panel, if I'm on a friend's podcast and I'm just one of the panelists and they bring up someone that I don't necessarily respect, you know what I mean? I get off the panel. I don't tell them why. Oh, I don't like that dude. Oh, I don't like that chick. Nah, I got to go. You know what I mean? Y'all have a good night. I give a salute and I'm out. I don't know when I'm out. I don't want to be there. And Sister Candace had a good point when she said a lot of these people, they're stars, they're celebrities, they have brands. If it gets too wild, they got to go. And you heard what Waka Flocka was like, man, y'all crazy. Like, I got to get out of here. He's thinking about his brands and stuff like that. So, and it's nothing but respect. Or they have commitments. You know, they got someplace to be. I did check in with Fresh. I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, is everything cool? He's like, all is well, bro. He's like, all is well. So they knew what they were doing. They're all men. They probably had a talk from the beginning. I wouldn't be surprised if Waka was like, bro, I probably won't make it through the whole thing. And he didn't. That's what's up. But you got to be able to defend your position. Myron does this day in, day out. There's another video out there where Myron defends his position with some people who like him. Like it's just it's the Vibes podcast. They're in Dubai. It's a brother and sister team, and I got a clip of that up there too. We'll probably talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean it is what it is. Sister Rosin was answering Sister Kansas' question, talking about Charleston White. The part where Charleston White started on about grandma tolerated cheating because she's classy. Did a video about it. I'm gonna have to check out that video. So did you posted that video, didn't you? Bet. I'm gonna check that out. Thanks for posting it. I'm gonna check that out. And feel free to jump up, sis, if you want to come up and talk about it. But my thing, and I did react to that Charleston White show as well. My thing about Charleston White is this. I didn't know much about him either. Watching that interview on Fresh and Fit, I was like, wow, I got a lot of respect for the guy. I had to watch, knowing his background, knowing what he came through, knowing what he survived. I'm like, I got to respect that dude. I mean, he says some wild stuff, though. I can't co-sign everything he says. But the part about grandma, I think he was making a point that the women from the older generations, they did tolerate it. They did know what time it was. They knew their men were out there stepping out. These guys were going out there and had whole other families. They had kids running around. They knew it. They stuck with the guy. You know what I mean? Right, wrong, or indifferent, they stuck with the guy. So, I think he was trying to make mention to that. I'm with you though, sis. The way he said it was kind of like a head scratcher, like, yo, bro, like that, really? You know what I mean? But grandma did tolerate cheating. Those generations, they did. They really meant the words. You know what I mean? They meant sickness and health. You know what I mean? What's the other one? The good and bad. I don't even know the words, y'all, because y'all know I ain't never gonna say them. And I'm talking about like marriage. Yeah, I can't even think of those vows right now because I ain't never been married. And I probably never. There's a really good chance I'll never be married. If you had to bet on me getting married, the over under for me getting married, bro, I'm telling you, you should bet against it. Don't bet that I will. It's a long shot that I would get married at this point in my life. Sister Candace, KS had made similar assertions on Fresh and Fit and vice versa. However, he dressed it up differently. Yep, that's kind of much what I was saying. Kevin Samuels did say the same thing. We hope to get past how someone says something and home in on the content of their words slant message. And I agree with you, sis. Yes. Kevin Samuels did say some similar things, and I'm co-signing on that. I saw it. I grew up. They was doing their thing. They were doing their things, and you ain't got to go as far back as grandma's generation, right? My mom's generation, right? That's where I think the split began. But my mom's generation, women got married and they tolerated it. They tolerated it. It's not a thing now. People don't tolerate that. When it comes to this sort of thing now, people are leaving, and they're folks are trying to figure out why. Like, why aren't relationships working? There are a whole bunch of theories behind it, but it is what it is, right? And I promise we're not going to talk about relationships for the rest of the show. In fact, it's one more video we're gonna do with Myron on that vibes thing, and then we'll get it. Brother Helk, I seen the back, man. Give me a few minutes, and I'll pull you up. Brother Helk, when you don't have research or statistics to back up your argument, it moves into a personal perspective. Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to use numbers. They want to use their personal experience. And that's what's gotten, that's what it boils down to. They just want to use their personal experience because the numbers make them mad. The numbers challenge you and makes you think. It's like, wow, is it really like this? Yeah, it really is. Take it from a dude who's been in the trenches a long time. It really is like this. There are a lot of people doing this, men and women. It's crazy out there. Hypergamy is a real thing. Feminism is a real thing. You know what I mean? Women out there being sexually free is a real thing. Guys out there, the virgins of the world, like the guys, the invisible dudes, the bottom 80, real thing. Sister Candace, brother DL, the conversation took on an extreme left turn when the grape culture and the wage gap was brought up. Oh, really? Off topic by one of the other women. I knew Walker wouldn't stay much longer after that. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't watch the show. Again, when it's a star and it's that many women, I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to get the value that I'm looking for out of it. And then the guys who do watch it, most of them, they're looking for the castle, right? They can't wait to put that one in there. They can't wait to put the castle emoji in there. That's the entertainment part of it. They get that entertainment. You know what I mean? Sister Candace, marriage is a duty until death do us part meant something. I'm not sure that sentiment still exists. Yeah, I would argue it doesn't. Brother Dino Store, honestly, Brother DL, you got to watch that whole show. The guest mate was sleeping in the back. Oh, wow. The guest friend was asleep for real. The guest was mumbling. He left over an hour in and was even bleaching. I think you meant, complaining. Another word for complaining. Yeah, I mean, man, it'd be hard for me to get through that. I watched the interview and I thought that was cool, but to go back and watch that, I don't know. Beautiful Animators in the house. What's good, sis? Always a pleasure to see you. My grandma stayed in the dress except on the days she went fishing and the rare occasions to whoop a hoe's butt. You crazy. You crazy, Beautiful Animated. You know what I mean? And thank you for coming, love. It's always a pleasure to see you. So yeah, we got Brother Hayoko waiting in the back. I want to do one more. Here it is. One more thing with Myron, and I'll bring Brother Hayoko up as we're watching this. But Myron was on this podcast, and this podcast is in Dubai. And the title of the podcast is "The Man Who Hates Women: The Truth About Fresh and Fit." That's clickbait, y'all. That's clickbait. It was a very good conversation. This is a really good interview, y'all. It's about an hour and 13 minutes. Y'all might want to check this out. But on this podcast, the brother and sister team, I'm sorry I don't know their names, but the brother and sister team, I think they're from the Middle East originally. They live in Dubai. They come from a good, strong family. They're both very, very successful. Both of them. Like the guy has a collection of exotic cars on his property. The girl is more successful than he is. The sister is more successful than the brother. They work hard, right? It is what it is. They kept the brother kept trying to get Myron to state that playing the field, exercising options. And let me pull myself up on the exercising options was bad. And guys, you shouldn't be coaching guys to do this. Myron and Fresh are both like, look, we don't tell these what dudes to do. We simply give you the tools and explain the battlefield as it is today. You can do what you want. And, and the brother was like, man, he's 95% on board with Myron, but that 5% he just doesn't like. And he just kept digging and digging and digging. This is one of the opportunities when they were digging, trying to get Myron to, I don't know, say what they wanted him to say or something like that. So let's check this out.
Behavior,
Of them being like,
Yeah,
So that's
so-
Okay, I disagree with you guys, and I'll tell you why. I wrote about this extensively in the book. The reason why women have changed is because of feminism. What feminism has done is it's made women earn their own money. They don't need men anymore. And since they don't need men, well, guess what? If I don't need a man, I only want a man. And if you only want a man, what kind of man are you going to want? Well, they're going to want the top shelf guys, the guys that are tall, the guys that are attractive, the guys that make significantly more money than them. So since women are in a position where they make their own money, right, they have their own success, which is cool. I'm not against women working. But what I am saying is that feminism has caused some real issues between relationships because now women only want men. And since they only want men, they want the best men. What comes with the territory of dealing with the best men? You're going to have to share them because you, Becky, Susie, Timmy, all of them. Well, did I say Timmy?
Pause.
My bad. Not Timmy.
Forget Timmy.
I meant to say.
So the reason I wanted to pull this up, guys, is because Myron is really good at defending his position. Like, he's really good at it. He does it day in and day out. He's really good at it. And this is when I tell folks, if you're going to go to a podcast or you're going to have some position, you want to be good at defending the position. Right. And Brother Dino, thank you for giving me the names. Did I lose it already? I guess it's Mo Vlogs and his sister, Lane Rose. Okay, thanks. Mo and Lane. Let me write that down so I don't forget. So the guy, Mo, spent the whole hour trying to trip Myron up, and he couldn't do it. And Myron knew what time it was. He was like, all right, I see what this guy is doing. There was no friction. There was no jumping up and down, acting crazy. Myron's like, all right, I see where you're coming from, and this is it. And he was right there. This is my stance. Here, this is my belief. Here are my stats, right? So let's watch a little bit more of this.
Oh, it's
Tiffany.
the
I'm going to
name.
say Tiffany.
Higgs,
Tiffany, right?
Whatever
All
that
of you.
was, there was something.
Yeah.
There's something that I knew it.
I'm going to say Tiffany. Either way, regardless, the point is every single girl wants that guy. So you're all competing for him. If a guy has 10 girls, is he going to settle down one? More than likely, no. So feminism is what's happened. It's kind of funny. What feminism has done is it's inadvertently given all the power and leverage in the dating marketplace to a small percentage of men.
Yeah.
It's actually hurt women overall.
Yeah, look, I think the blame's on both sides. Like you said,
Well, yeah, guys are losers too.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women, here's the thing. So it's two things, right? Women make their own money now, so they're successful. The guys haven't necessarily caught up, right? And a lot of guys don't have their shit together. They don't make their own money, etc. So most girls look at it like, I make as much money, if not more than you, so I don't need you. I'm going to go with a more exceptional guy. And a lot of guys are kind of like, fuck it. I'm good with this. It is what it is. It used to be a guy would wake up every day, work his ass off to take care of his wife and his family.
Yeah.
But since guys don't have sexual
and
access
also,
to
look
women,
at these like only girl fans. Like, guys are paying. If they stop paying, they stop making money doing this. So that kind of you defeat that whole industry.
but it comes back to what I was saying.
they
Like
won't stop,
guys are
though.
simps.
Yeah, they won't stop.
A lot of guys. There's
That's
a
what I'm
whole
saying. It's a
simp
problem on
economy.
both sides. You know, it's like if you could.
Yeah, they're encouraging the behavior.
Yeah, they're encouraging
You're paying
behavior.
with the
It's
money.
both parties. Like the guys need to step up, which we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Get your money on point. Go to the gym. Don't be a loser.
Stop rewarding stupid stuff.
At the same time, fundamentally, women have changed significantly over the past 50 to 100 years.
And like, so the guy Mo and his sister Lane were, they were just trying to bring him up. Well, it's not just the women's fault, it's the men's fault. Yeah, Myron and Fresh, they talk about this all the time. Yeah, it is. Dudes got to get it together. You know what I mean? Brother Hayoka, what's good, man? How you feeling, bro?
Fine. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Just hanging in here, just chopping it up, talking crazy.
I was sitting up there listening earlier, and one of the things that about grandmothers is simply this, and it still holds true today, that because of the pill, it decoupled the relationship between men and women. And so whereas back in the day, a woman had to stay because the man was not only the main breadwinner and the father of her children, if she got with another man, the possibility of having a child by that man was still high. So it wasn't, and that would break up your relationship if you were with a man and had a child by another man. That wasn't going to work. When you look at today, the situation with the brother and the sister, Myron's correct. The more money that a woman makes, the more she equates a lot of times her accomplishments with her value, her sexual market value. And when that happens, what happens is her standards go up, and she's acing out a lot of guys that she doesn't see. So like you said earlier, the guy at the store, she might not even notice. So she's looking for somebody to have kids with, that if she does decide to have children with, she's gonna he's got to be successful. But another problem with that is that in this world, in order to be successful, a lot of times a woman has to have masculine qualities, which can also be repulsive to that man.
And that's another thing too. When we talk to women about this, it's like, we're not saying that the woman is masculine. It's like, to be successful in that world, the qualities that's going to lead to that success tend to be alpha and or masculine qualities. So you're not going to be a pushover and work your way up the corporate ladder and get yourself in a position like a Jamie Dimon or something like that. You're not going to be a CEO of a powerful bank or a CEO of a Fortune 500, Fortune 300 corporation by being a pushover. You're going to have to, get the knives out. So, and that's what we mean. And there's nothing wrong with that. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with that. Get your money. If you ever want to watch an episode of, Myron Gaines and Myron and Fresh from Fresh and Fit getting grilled, this is a good one, because this dude Mo, and this is the sister Candace's comment right here, the male host on this had an uncanny resemblance, both physically and professionally, with that bozo from Flagrant podcast. Yes. You know what I mean? And what he was trying to do was obvious. He's just too soft. Let's keep it. If you want this, like when I look at this picture, right? I look at Myron and Fresh. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this guy Mo and Myron sitting on the sofa. The whole time this guy Mo is like, he's fidgeting. He can't sit still. He's playing with his sock. He's playing with his pants. You know what I mean? He's nervous as hell. Like, bro, you've been doing this for a minute. What are you nervous about? Why is he nervous? He has an alpha sitting next to him. You know what I mean? These people don't realize how big Myron is in real life. The dude's he's monstrous. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that don't bother me. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm a dude as well. Go ahead.
You know, one of the things that most people don't know is that you can have a poker face, but the further you move away from the head, the less control you have over the body. And so this is why with 85% of what we say being nonverbal, I was looking at him fidgeting and I was like, he's nervous about something. And I think he's nervous about when you said that he agrees 95%, but that 5% that he didn't agree with, he knew that he would have to probably take it up with his sister afterwards because they could not get him to do what they wanted him to do.
Yeah. Or mom and dad. It's something like they're gonna he's worried about something. He's like, man, I couldn't trip this guy up. He couldn't trip up Fresh either. And he tried really hard. You know, shout out to him. You know what I mean? He did what he does. But yeah, so and I just wanted to talk about that. We're gonna wrap up this part of the relationship, and we're gonna get into this Mano video. Why I got you up here, bro? You know what I mean? I wanted to get you a couple points, and then I'm gonna move on. But I really wanted to get your take on the bailouts, bro. With First Republic, all that money that First Republic has gotten, I think the numbers are as high as $180 billion going to First Republic Bank, and it looks like the bank still may fail. You have any take on that? You have any opinion on that? Because you're out there, right?
Yeah. I think what happened is that they knew that would be a critical bank. They had to bail them out because the innovation sector, you have a lot of startups coming up out of that bank. And because those startups have that money in the bank, if those startups fail, then your competition with China will ultimately be affected.
Well, are you talking about Silicon Valley or are you talking about First Republic or are you talking about both?
No, Silicon Valley, excuse me.
Right, yeah, I understood. I don't agree with, I understand why they wanted to backstop, quote unquote, which is just bail out Silicon Valley Bank. I think they should have let the bank fail and all those companies, whatever. If you wanted to save a couple of those companies, maybe save the companies, but I would have let the bank fail. But I don't understand what's going on with First Republic. You have any knowledge on that at all?
No, I'm not familiar with what's going on with First Republic. But I know that there's a number of banks that they shored them up because they knew one thing. They know that this is a domino effect. If people see a lot of their cash being locked out, it's going to cause even a major run. You're going to get a bigger splash than what you had before. So to some
let's
degree,
go back to what you were saying with Silicon Valley Bank, because you're making some good points though. You were talking about China, you were talking about the tech stuff. So continue with that.
The problem is with Silicon Valley is that with a lot of startups coming out of it, it would have affected the innovation that the United States in a competitive situation with China would be. In China it's a dog eat dog system. Okay, they'll copy your stuff in a heartbeat, and they'll copy it and innovate on top of it. And so what happens is that you have to shore them up. If you didn't shore up the innovation sector, then what happens is that you stand to lose your tech sector. And I'm not saying the big guys, but the little guys. This is why Google does not have everybody in house for as a part of. They don't gobble up everybody because you need innovation. And if everybody's thinking the same way, everybody's part of the same corporate culture, then you don't get that differentiation to say, well, listen, let me look at this from a different perspective. To give you an example, when you look at the chatbot that's up, okay, that chatbot, which was from OpenAI, also Microsoft took the technology and put it within their system, and now you have Google bringing out their own system based on their own technology. And what that's going to do is that's going to change the nature of a lot of stuff that we do. When you can speak into a chatbot and you can say, well, listen, give me the correlation between this and that. Okay, between the divorce rate and the introduction of the pill. And it can go in and search the internet and pull up all relevant information and give it to you in a concise way. Then it's going to change so many different things. So we did that here, and now you see that in China, they're doing the same thing. They're instituting the chatbot through Baidu. That's one of the companies that's doing it. So Silicon Valley Bank, even though you might say, well, yeah, it's a bank, one of the startups got like $5 million. He was saying, we just got $5 million like last month and we were celebrating. And now all our money is gone. So
Well,
how are they going?
They got 250,000.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that's not going to keep your innovation
Right.
going.
I was just making a joke, but the thing
Yeah.
is this though. That is mismanagement. Right? That's mismanagement. Okay. And okay, if we're making the argument that hey, we just got this $5 million loan or grant or whatever we got on Monday, and then the bank goes out of business on Tuesday, we couldn't get the money out. Okay. But even that, it's like, no, y'all should have been ready. Silicon Valley, it was a Thursday night when Silvergate Bank went under, basically. They kind of shut their doors. That was a Thursday night. Friday morning, they should have been moving that $5 million. So again, to me, it looks like, well, that's just poor management. You should have moved that money. At least half of it. You know what I mean? You know, 3/4 of it. Get that money out of there. You know what I mean? But and again, I'm just not for this bailout, this backstop, whatever you want to call it. And maybe like, okay, let the bank fail, and then maybe you start a program with the government where these companies can petition the government to get maybe they can get some of their money back or whatever. And the government can decide, okay, this corporation here, this technology we need, so we're going to go ahead, give them a loan, competitive rates. They're still going to lose that money over there, but we're going to give them a loan and maybe like come back.
Well, the problem that you face is that it's the same thing in relationship to the intersexual dynamics that you're looking at with the bank. You have pressures from the outside and you have pressures from within. It's not just you exist within an ecosystem. It's all a system. So they had to not just worry about the impact that the bank had on the innovation coming from these companies that would have been affected. They also had to look at the national level to say, well, listen, will this affect the technology that we're looking at that's coming up? And so,
you know what, bro? Let me jump in just real quick. I don't think they looked at it that deep. I don't believe that Janet Yellen was looking at the companies who invested in Silicon Valley Bank. I think she was just looking at the bank itself and the whole banking industry, which is really backed by faith, right? And then I'm kind of leaning toward what Brother Dinosaur is saying here. We witnessed the first social media driven run on a bank because there was this thing and people were like, hey man, this could be a problem, and everyone immediately did what I suggested: take the money out. You know what I'm saying? And then Ozzy has a good point here too. They didn't want to pay the insurance for anything above $250,000, which they could have. You got $5 million in there. You take a little bit of money and pay. So you see what I mean about the mismanagement part. And I think that these people out here who are, be it tech, be it the real estate sector, be it, institutionalized corporate banking, they're managing these companies poorly. And they know in the back of their mind, like, well, we screwed this up. The government is going to give us a bailout. And I think that's the problem. But you're saying it's more along the lines of the tech industry. And you think they're worried about the innovations, the innovation part about it.
Well, here's the thing. When you look at the Chinese model, the Chinese are literally steering their tech sectors to where they want them to go. It's a centralized economy. Now it does have capitalistic qualities to it because it is a dog-eat-dog situation. But when you look at here, the mismanagement part was on the bank. It wasn't on the companies. Now the thing about it is you're gonna see this play out again and again. Whereas if you don't do this, then you're gonna have a domino effect with that. Like you pointed out earlier, it's all fiat money, so they can print as much of it as they want to. Because according to the U.S. Constitution, the only two things that count as money are really gold and silver. So the thing about it is, like, whenever you use a dollar bill, it's to be accepted as currency by law, but it's not really considered. It's not really money. This is why if you look at the Russian ruble, you look at the Chinese yuan, they're moving towards the gold standard, just like the United States has a lot of gold in it. So the whole system is interconnected, and if you put one string here, you're going to have a domino effect someplace else.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I hear you on that. I really do believe that we should be on a gold standard. When I talk to the people in the business, they're like, man, that's ridiculous. We're never going to do that. Okay, then why we keep all that gold in Fort Knox? That's my like, oh, we're never going back to the gold standard, but why do we have all that gold there? Right? We just gold bullion from all over the world right there in Fort Knox. We never gave that much that gold back to these countries that sent it over here. Right. So that's my take on that. And again, I hear what you're saying about the bank being mismanaged, but these corporations, they mismanage this as well. Like Ozzy was saying, man, you can get coverage for anything above $250,000. You just got to pay for it. The banks are being required to pay for it now, and they're gonna move those fees on to the users, the people who have way less than $250,000. Me, you, everyone else. You know what I mean? Like if I put all of my money in one bank and that bank goes under, that's on me if I didn't take precautions for everything over $250,000. You know, and the fact that if we keep bailing these people out, I need to know why. I don't believe that Janet Yellen had the first thought about tech. I don't think she was briefed. I believe that all they're looking at, if we let this bank fail, it's gonna start a major run on all the banks, and it's gonna get up to the top banks, the too big to fail banks. And then I think that's why they wanted to backstop Silicon Valley. They wanted to backstop Signature, and now you got all the other banks kicking in hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out First Republic, and it looks like First Republic is still going to bank. We haven't even talked about Credit Suisse, like over in Europe, like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the whole system is jacked up. Everyone knows the system doesn't work. The faith in the system is starting to erode, and we're seeing it in real time. And like Brother Dino said, it only takes a second, literally, to move your money. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like these big corporations or small corporations with big money in the bank, I think all those companies should have been wiped out along with the bank for making a bad decision, for keeping that much money in there without federally insuring it. And like Akazi was saying, you can buy extra insurance. Go ahead, bro.
Well, you can have multiple accounts. You just can't have them at one bank.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're like when you look at Mark Cuban had $10 million at Silicon Valley, and so
he lost all but he should have lost all but 250,000 of that, but it got backstopped by the government.
Yeah, and so the thing about it is that when you look at the fact that, like he said, he had $10 million. Well, he has more than $10 million, but he has it dispersed in such a way that, okay, you might get some of it, but the bulk of it's going to be in such a situation that the entire system would have to fail. We don't have that kind of money, so they're going to take from us in order to do what they want to do as far as the system. It's all from one. If you ever notice, we go from one crisis to the next. There's always a crisis.
I don't mind using the taxpayer dollars to bail out Wall Street and the 1%. I don't mind that at all. But they got to kick back. They just take the money. You don't get nothing back. They talk about when we had the 2008 financial crisis, and they're like, well, we gave all this money out to the banks, and then the banks paid all the money back, and we made a tidy profit for the government. The government made like $50 billion or something like that when it was all said and done. Okay, fine. Did you give kickbacks to Main Street? No. You know what I mean? So you got people who came from Wall Street who are now in charge of the Fed, who are now like the Secretary of Treasury and stuff like that. They're doing banking stuff. They're forcing people to do banking stuff. They're using, taxpayer dollars, making money, like they say, shoot, I forget, Paulson was talking about it. Well, yeah, when they paid it all back and we made a hefty, it was him and Geithner talking about it. We made $50 billion or whatever it was. All right, well, did you give a kickback to all of the American people whose money that was? No. So they keep bailing. My problem is if you're going to bail them out, you're going to use the money, kick some of that money back. It could be in the form of some sort of tax break or something like that. Give something back. Go ahead.
Rule number one is once you have their money, never give it back. When you look at the fact that for an F-35 fighter, fighter bombing cost you $100 million, and they were slated to make over 2,000 of them. Okay, there's no money in social programs and helping the people. There's money in war and in processes that are like that. So the thing about it is that as far as them giving back money, I don't think that they would ever give back money. It's like taxes. Taxes never go down. They
Well,
always go up.
and I hear what you're saying, right? The comparison to the military budget to me is we're talking apples and oranges because that military money, that money's already set aside. We waste, and you know, I know a little bit about military budgets, like the Comanche project. They spent billions on the Comanche project, and it never came to fruition. They wasted all that money. I'm not saying, well, you know, you should rebate the American citizen because of this failed project on this attack helicopter. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you go and you take money that wasn't already allocated and you put it towards private institutions and you make a profit, you know what I mean? You know, John Joe American and Sally America should get a dividend.
Well, it's a revolving door. So you're not going to be a part of that. If you notice that the people who are in the banking sector are the same people who ultimately wound up in the Federal Reserve or places like that.
Exactly, like Paul saying, and Bernanke and all the rest of them. Janet Yellen, she was in private banking. You know what I mean? You look at Jerome Powell, all of them. They're just kind of moving from one section to the other, and they're taking care of each other.
Of course.
Because think about that. All that money that went to banking, you know, that money goes to golden parachutes. That money goes to bonuses and this, that, and the third. All right, if you're going to, and like I said, I don't mind. Sister Candy was like, I mind. You should have used the exclamation point, sis. I get you on that, sis. But the thing is this: they're making profit off of taxpayer dollars that wasn't allocated by Congress. Okay, fine, you did that. You made a profit. Share that profit with the people you took it from. Share that profit with the taxpayers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, you know, I agree with everything you're saying about, you know, once they get the money and all this other kind of stuff and taxes and that, I get all that. But once they decide to bail out the private sector, this is my biggest problem with it. You need to share, you know what I mean, share the wealth. You know what I mean? You took money from me, give me my dividend. I don't care if it's only $5. I want my $5.
You know
what I mean?
How I always look at it is the law of the fishes. The big fish eat the little fish, so the little fish better be quick. You better be thinking. The people who you're looking at have already put themselves in positions waiting for it to fall. They know that this is coming. This is why they wanted to, you know, there's I think the Dodge Act.
Yeah, the Frank Dodd Act. Yep.
Yeah, they wanted to weaken it and get exceptions to it.
Yeah, Dodd-Frank. I'm sorry, I said it right. It's the Dodd-Frank Act.
Yeah. The thing about it is that you know, every day when you see large sums of money, somebody's going to think of a way to get at it.
I hear you.
Yeah. So the thing about it is when I look at it, that's how I see it. I'm like, you have to be able to protect yourself, or at least to have some semblance, so that you can say, well, listen, I can get through this. You know, nowadays people are thinking, oh, well, I'll just become a millionaire. Well, now it's kind of like it takes like $3 million. You know, when back in the day, when you were a millionaire, you had money.
Well, it takes $3 million because of inflation. And why do we have high inflation? Because we print money, we have 0% interest. It was Janet Yellen who presided over the Fed and kept interest rates at 0% for like 12 years. The problems we're dealing with now is directly because of her decisions back then. And now she's in charge of the Treasury. It's stupid. So I would say this. And this is, hey, y'all, I'm talking to everybody out there right now, bro. This is what we need to do. We need to put people in Congress they're willing to change the laws to states that it is illegal to take taxpayer dollars to bail out private corporations. And they try to work around it because they try to do something like that with Dodd-Frank, but there's way too many loopholes in there, there's smoke and mirrors. It's absolutely illegal to do it, right? We need to allow corporations to fail when they mismanage. And that's what freedom is. Shout out to Patrick Bet-David. I'm wearing their hat today. He said it. That's freedom. Not only do you have freedom to pursue your dreams, freedom to start these companies, but you have the freedom to lose it all, to fail. And that's what the 1% in the banking system in Wall Street, that's what they don't do right now. More banks should have failed back in 2008. It shouldn't have just been Lehman Brothers. Merrill should have went down. You know what I mean? Citi should have went down. Goldman Sachs should have went down. You know what I mean? Bank of America should have gone down. They all should have gone down, and more banks would have stepped up. But we stopped doing that. And this is why people don't have faith in the system. So we need to send people to Congress, either do away with or modify Dodd-Frank to where it is illegal to take taxpayer money to bail out private entities, private corporations. I'm sure they'll try to find some way around it, but this is absolutely wrong. You know what I mean? Brother Jason's in the house. What's good, fam? I had to get that little rant out, man. But go ahead, get your final thoughts in, and I'm gonna switch up this conversation. We're gonna talk some street stuff here in a second.
But the problem is that you got people who are going to be working both sides. You know, you might say, well, we're not going to bail out any private institutions. Then what happens is like this: is that they would put it. Then there would be a crisis in such a way that you'd have to do it.
Bullshit! You ain't got to do it. Let it burn.
Listen, check this out. Remember that they wanted to do a $3 trillion social program. Okay, when Biden came into office, and the money has gone every other way. It's gone every other way. They're sending money to Ukraine. Okay. Well, the thing about it is like this: is that the money that they're sending to Ukraine actually goes into the people who make the weapons. It's not going to the public. Now, the thing about it is the people who make the weapons, they make jobs. But as you get more and more automation, what happens is you need less and less people.
I'm with you, bro. I understand that. But we're not talking about the war in Ukraine. No, don't get it twisted, y'all. It's America fighting Ukraine. It's a proxy war. Don't get it twisted. We are trying to break Putin. That's what we're doing. We're using the Ukrainians to do it. They're fighting hard, and we're giving them the tech. I get that. And, that's like another conversation. I'm an old soldier. I trained to fight Russians, so I ain't got a problem with it. I understand it costs money, but I'm talking about the banks, and I'm talking about Wall Street. You know what I mean? Like, because now, even with the money, hey, we gave people a kickback. We gave people a lot of money, but inflation is so high, you don't have any purchasing power. You know what I mean? Like, they understand this. They are crippling. We are destroying America by trying to save banks they don't deserve to be saved. Let the system crash. Let it crash. That's my take on it, bro. So what are your last thoughts, man? And I'll drop you down, and I'm going to move on to some hood stuff.
I think that this is something that can't be solved in the small conversation that we have going on right now, because it's all intertwined. And it might seem it's okay to let the banks fail, but I also say like this: is that the United States is also in here as far as jobs, and here as far as technology, that you'd have a lot of things that would go down with that net, and they would drag a lot of things down with them. And so it's not just, oh well, we can just look at the banks. It's all part of the system. And from a systems perspective, you'd have to see where the threats go. It's just like, to give you an example, when you remember the Bitcoin thing where the guy lost billions of dollars, that affected a lot of people and a lot of companies, because there were some pension funds that had bought into that. So, and they just lost their money. It just disappeared. So you just got to be very very cautious as to where these things go to. And I'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Trust me, we're going to talk about this some more. Give me a couple more weeks. We're going to definitely be talking about this system. I think the system should be scrapped. But you're saying if you do that, it's so much tied to it, it could be a bigger problem. So we're going to continue this conversation at a later date. Thank you so much for coming up, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I'm pretty sure Brother Tarus is in the chat, man. I'm about to see what's up with him.
Before you go, you still there?
Yep.
I sent you some information on the second brain, so check it out. Catch you later.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.
The second brain, we're definitely gonna have to look at that. And shout out to Brother Hayoka, always coming up, man. You know what I mean, and giving us a perspective that we definitely need. Sister Candace, when the American people, working class people, lose money in the stock market or otherwise make bad investments, we end up working longer to make up for that monetary shortfall. There is no government-backed bailout or handouts waiting for us. Absolutely fact. It's all by design. Yes, Brother Tarus. Bro, you're going to have to come up here, Tarus. We're gonna have you gonna have to come up here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I gotta get your take on this, and then we're gonna talk about some hood stuff too here. So you'll be able to definitely jump on that. But Brother Charus, whom the American people voted to allow corporations not to fail and allowed to be bailed out, all was established in the 80s. Privatized profits, socialized the losses. The American people asked for that. I would say the American people inadvertently allowed it. Again, that's what we get for not being thinkers, right? You got a country full of people who don't know how to think. We got a school system that doesn't teach you how to think. This is the most important thing, man.
Think tank, Arch. Nothing gets past the old think tank. Nothing.
The old think tank is the most important thing for Americans, and Americans don't know how to use it. I teach my daughter how to think every single day. Every single day. This is what we talk about. You got to be able to think. And I'm with Charus. He's like, this is what they voted for. This is what you get. True. Act Ozzy. Unfortunately, anyone who runs on banking reform has no chance in the primary. Exactly. And Charus, I see you back there, bro. We're gonna have a cool little talk, and then we're gonna talk about again. There's one last thing I want to talk about, and this is rapper named Man on this YouTube, this young YouTuber, y'all. We gotta talk about that before we go. Miss AKA lady is in the house. What's good, love? How you feeling? Wonderful 34 is in the building. Wonderful 34, man. What's good, man? How you feeling, bro? How y'all doing? Primal Studies in the piece, man. What's good, fam? We got Brother Charus in the back chat waiting to come up here. I know he's chomping at the bit. It's called I'm gonna let you talk about this, bro. I'm gonna let you talk about this. Let me bring him up right now. It's called what, bro? First of all, how you doing, man?
Hey, DL. How you doing, brother? Looking good as always.
I'm all right, bro. I'm going for the Western man, the you know what I'm saying, the lumberjack, lumberjack beard.
No, bro, it's coming up in springtime and you're in Florida. Now you got to shave it down, man. You got to shave it down a little bit.
Nope, I refuse to. Now, next time I take a trip, like next time I go somewhere, y'all can tell when I don't go anywhere. I look like this. If I start looking shaved down and trimmed up, you can ask, okay, where'd you go, bro? I went somewhere. But go ahead, man. What are we talking about here, man? It's called what? I got your chat up on the screen.
It's called a monopsony. Everybody knows the purest form, or you should know, audience, the purest form of capitalism. We have a board game called Monopoly. That is the purest form of capitalism. And in the purest form of capitalism, last time I checked, one winner. And the monopoly means one. What do we always say here in America? The 1% owns what? Well, the 1% is not one person, right? It's a group of people who represent the 1%. That is what a monopsony is, when the few owns the majority of the wealth. When the 1% owns more than 50% of the wealth. So what we have is a monopsony where you have, again, if you think about our media industries, there's only what, 3 to 4 actual media corporations that own all the other small outlets. That's a monopsony.
Right. Now, this ain't a word you made up while you was on your mayor's, right? This is, I can look this up.
No, it's the real word. Y'all can look it up right now. Y'all can look it up right now.
Go, I was just messing with you, bro. Over here sounding like Jesse Jackson, like, I don't know, bro.
I mean, so pretty much what happens is we've allowed corporations, under the guise of being anti-communist and anti-socialism, that we've allowed corporations to be too big to fail. This is why, while a lot of people are losing their money on the market, I'm not, because you know who I'm invested in? BlackRock, too big to fail. Goldman Sachs, too big to fail. Wells Fargo, too big to fail. No matter what anybody in America believes, yes, there is a such thing as too big to fail. Stop pretending otherwise. And let's be clear, the reason why is because we voted for that. Why? Because, we want lower taxes and less regulations. And so, but what ended up happening was the U.S. Constitution was meant to be a protection of the American people from corporations, but due to a lot of gluttonous selfishness and a lot of that freaking rugged individualism of Reagan, we've allowed corporations to weaponize the U.S. Constitution against the American people. The government is supposed to work on behalf of the people, the individual, to regulate the free market to make sure it remains free and competitive. It is not free and competitive.
And you know what, people, and I agree with the brother. I agree. I gotta give you some horns on that. I agree with everything he just said. People are like, so what do we do? How do we fight this? It's simple. It's very, very simple. We fight it by rolling back Roe v. Wade. That has to go. And I'm sorry, not Roe v. Wade. Citizens United. Sorry about that, y'all. Different topic. We gotta get rid of Citizens United. You know what I mean? That's a problem. We need term limits, right? That's the second step. And the third step, we need some form of campaign finance reform. If we do those three things, it's really hard to buy a politician. Right now,
but we're never going to do those three things.
It's going to take a lot of work to do those three things. But if America, if we do those three things, right? Do away with Citizens United, enact term limits that make sense, right? And initiate some sort of campaign finance reform. Those three things. You can forget about too big to fail in this monopoly. All that stuff will get broken up because you can send regular Americans into DC. They're going to look at what's going on and be like, this, we got to change this. We got to change this because y'all making way too much money to top 1%. And what are they spending the money on? You know what I'm saying? They're just making the money to make the money. So that's my take on it. Brother Dinosaur, Silicon Valley Bank customers didn't know that their bank was lobbying for more bank deregulation. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Wonderful 34 says, I see you cooking as usual. I think that's for you, bro. Last good man in Jersey. What's good, fam? Good to see you. Miss AKA lady, that was for you as well. I believe in too big to fail. You do? Those are the safest banks and investments. Their downfall is too much on the economy, which is a form of consumer protections. I don't agree with too big to fail. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Why?
We shouldn't have gotten to that point. Well, we shouldn't have gotten to that point. They should have been allowed to fail. And then those regional banks, they would have stepped up. Wells Fargo wasn't in trouble. There were a lot of banks who weren't in trouble. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't get tied in with AIG. A lot of people weren't tied in with Countrywide or whatever. A lot of people did not jump on that bandwagon. We should have let them fail, but we didn't. You know what I mean? We didn't.
Our Republican and Democratic Party that will not let them fail. And let me be very clear. There's not a government in our history, in American history, that would have let them fail. Like GM, you know why? Because remember, we're in the peak of 2 war campaigns. You got a mortgage crisis, and then you got upwards to 1 million jobs on the line. What government do you know is going to let that fail?
If the government had to step in, the government should have stepped in like they did, and then, okay, on the back end of this, we're going to get rid of these companies. Y'all done. We're going to fill the holes, but y'all are done. And this is what I mean. And when the crisis is over, go ahead.
I agree with you. The problem is that they rigged the game back in the 80s with the deregulation and the tax cuts. So that power that government had over control, remember, we didn't want that because that's communism. That's socialism. We voted to deregulate these same corporations that took that money that they saved and to put them jobs over to China and Mexico. So when I got a lot of American people whining about the way corporations behave, and I'm like, well, you gave them the power to act like this. How do you think they're able to act like this? Well, that's because every 2 years you vote for somebody who tells you they're going to deregulate and limit the government. What did you think they were going to do? Now, all of a sudden, you see a bunch of American people pissed off that, oh my God, the corporations actually used the power that we gave them against us. Shocker.
No, they don't even know that. They just go back because they don't even
No. People told them that, but you know what we got called? We got called libtards, communist, socialist, Marxists, all kind of crap. We told y'all, and now look.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Sister Candace, the government officials are the 1%. In many cases, their self-interest will always come before the American people. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I look at people like Nancy Pelosi. She spent her entire life in Washington pretty much, right? Her adult life. I don't think she got to Washington as a 1%er, but we know she is now. Their net worth is what? Somewhere well north of $200-300 million. Shout out to you, Nancy. You know what I mean?
Bro, any of these politicians at the federal level, they go more than, say, 2 terms, they become a 1%er straight up.
If you know their name and they're not your representative, like from your state, from your district, if you know who they are, then they're paid. They're bought and paid for it. AOC's included. Y'all say, Bernie Sanders included. They getting bread, bro.
But see, this is why. But this is why I need my American people to actually listen to their gut. For example, DL, we know that the corporations are, the politicians are bought and paid off, right? We know that they're corporate puppets for the corporate masters, correct?
Yeah.
So why in 2016 did the American people go, you know what? We're tired of electing puppets. Let's elect the puppet master. That will make everything better. Let's elect a guy who funds both parties with corruption, just like that's somehow going to make everything better.
Well, I mean, again, that's where the campaign finance reform comes in. You know, like you look at someone
they
like
was doing that in the 80s. That whole campaign finance. That the let's be clear. The Citizens United, that was 2010 ruling. That was 30. That's 30 years after they already rigged the game. All they did was just rig it more.
Yeah, that's just they just opened up. They just blew the dam up and they all the dark money in. I get that. They can all be turned around. You know what I mean? When you look at Trump,
there's only one way to turn it around. You put your money in the banks that are too big to fail, because now they're tied. Because guess what? Now their success is tied to you, and your success is tied to. That's the only way. These guys only understand money. As spiritual as we want to be, DL, you know this better than anyone else. All these guys understand is cash rules everything around.
Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Shout out to the Wu-Tang. And here's the thing, I hear you, and I don't believe the American public is going to do anything about it. Why? Because, and this is it's a book I'm working on. I'm not even going to say the title. I got to get it in. Be secure the title first. But Americans simply aren't smart enough to understand what's going on, or they're too busy to give thought to it, because you can't get a full-time job anymore. You can't get benefits anymore. It's all about the work, the gig economy. And to your point, if we're saying, well, just deal with it, put all your money in the bit too big to fail, isn't that the first step to the new world order? The banks control everything. It's not. They got your money.
No, because you become a shareholder. And what do we always talk about corporations? Why are they always taking care of the shareholders first? Oh, wait, we are the shareholders.
But you're not. Okay, I see what you're saying. We're gonna have to come back and visit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, enough American people, your little 401ks, your E-Trade, your Robinhoods. Yes, I understand everybody thinks. I tell people all the time, stock market is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's supposed to build your wealth over time. Guess who you build your wealth with? The people that look like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, the Vanguards, the BlackRocks, the Goldman Sachs, the freaking Apples, the Googles. Anybody that looks like a damn dictator or a tyrant, that's who you put your money in.
All right, so put your money into Putin.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all put
your money in North Korea, because you're gonna rob your crypto and you ain't getting none of that money back.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go to North Korea, but maybe Syria. Maybe put some money into Syria. Assad. You know what I mean? That's number one dictator right there. But I get what you're coming from. I hear what you're saying. You know what I mean? Go ahead, get yourself some shares.
You know what you was talking about yesterday. That's why I was just listening yesterday. I've never heard the internals of how the FAA work like that.
And you only heard just a little bit, bro. That tip of the iceberg.
The skill set required to just be decent at that job. But you know why there's a lot of scumbags that you can't stand getting in that field anymore? Because the standards is dropped because the corporations want to save money.
Yep, you're right about that. So we're gonna, we're gonna leave it there, bro. We're gonna have another talk about money, man. We're gonna get you and Hayok on here and some other folks, man. We're gonna have another talk about money. And this has actually turned out to be a lot better than I thought it would. Brother Dino, 2008 was a global failure, DL. It absolutely was. But it started here. It just spread just like this thing. This thing started with it started with Silvergate Bank, some bank out of San Diego, California, and look where it is now. It's involving Credit Suisse, which never recovered from the 2008 thing. You know what I mean? So think about it. It's still global. You know what I mean? It's still global. Miss AKA lady, I didn't say I agree with it. I'm saying those institutions are there and their size has a benefit. So that's where I place my money. Same thing that Brother Tarus is saying. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't fault the logic. Yeah, I can't fault the logic. You're right. And now's a good time. If you're gonna follow this strategy, and look, we're not giving financial advice. We're not financial strategists. But I can tell you this, the banking sector took heavy losses right now. So it was a good time to get you some stocks in some of those banks. Just be careful who you putting your money with.
And DL, real quick, you know I'm definitely a leftist, but I'm a leftist every other year, basically on election day. When I get my paycheck, you better believe I'm fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like on a day-to-day, I need to tell like when I go and vote, guys, I go and vote based on what I hope the country's going to turn into. Hey, let's make sure we're shoring up equal rights. Make sure we're trying to hold banks and corporations and politicians accountable. Let's do that. But then in the meantime, when I get paid every day, you know where my money's going at? Vanguard. Because guess what? At the end of the day, that's my money, and I need to eat and I need to make money.
Yeah, you gotta think about your kids, man. I ain't mad
Both
at you.
to be true.
And all I'm waiting on is this bailout. They're giving all this money, they're infusing all this money into the banks, and guess what? They're never going to give Americans money, but you know what they do? They'll go ahead and give some loans out there. This is how they try to get back. So go ahead and get your LLC set, get your S Corp set, get your C Corp set, figure out what it is you're gonna do, and go out there and capitalize on your corporate credit, y'all. That's what y'all should be doing.
Off, bro. They gave corporations all this cash during COVID without a second thought. Non-human, non-citizens, non-real, like just entities. They gave them no questions asked. But the actual American people that the government's supposed to work for, it was an argument in Congress whether we should get 1 or 2 stimulus.
Anything. So,
wow.
Hey, bro. And my thing is, hey, what do we say on this side of the internet, on this platform, man? Don't hate the players, hate the game.
Yep.
Understand this game, yo. Get your LLC. Start there. You can do it for free. You can do it for as low as $400 if you want some legal help on LegalZoom. You know what I mean? Start your LLC. Just get it. Make sure it's in good standings. And guess what? You can get loans through that LLC that won't affect your credit. Get your DUNS number. If y'all don't know what, you know what we need to do, Terrell? You know what we need to do? We need to have that show. We need to have that show. Next week, bro, let's have that show. Let's talk about C Corp, S Corp, LLC. Let's talk about DUNS numbers. Let's talk about corporate credit.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about wealth building, bro. Let's have that show next week, man. I'm gonna hit you up. We're gonna set that up. Yeah, I'm like, you ain't got me all fired up. But we got one more thing we got to talk about, y'all. One more thing we got to talk about, then we're gonna be out of here. And this is on some kind of hood stuff, y'all. And this is on generational differences that's going on out here, right, in today's world. So this is from Flagrant. This is Andrew Schultz's show with his team. I'm not a big fan of his team. I like Andrew, though. I got respect for Andrew, his team. I don't really rock with them cats. And Charlemagne, the guy, was on this show. They're talking about a rapper named Mano, right? And there's some YouTubers out there at some event. I think they're in New York, and he decided to mess with Mano, and we're gonna see what happened to this young guy. So let's check this out.
This is a dude that like will antagonize people like on the street doing like a little thing. So here. First of all,
let me put on your chain so I can see how it feel. I want to see how it feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? To have on the chain.
this is when he should have stopped.
I gave you time. Now
You see how Mano put his hand on his shoulder? Pause there for a second, Mark. When Mano put his hand on his shoulder and gave him a little rub, like, hey, now you just chatting. You know what I'm saying? He's letting them know.
Yeah.
And now it's time for you to relax. Because now I got my guard up. The next thing you do, I'm going to take it as a threat, and you're going to get choked the fuck out. And for whatever reason, why was this his next thing to say? This is crazy.
Right? How badly, right? You think I could like beat your ass?
Like why? Like why? First of all, why?
So right off the rip, so you see this young dude talking to Mano, right? So for those who don't know Mano, this dude's out of New York. This is a real cat. This guy spent the majority, like not the majority, but a good chunk of his adult life and most of his childhood in the prison system, on the streets, doing what he had to do. I respect the man. I ain't never met him in person. I've seen videos and like I've heard his story.
As far as that culture goes, it's real street cred.
He a real dude. You know what I mean? Just take it from me. He a real dude. Doing stuff that I'm like, I'm glad I didn't have to do all that. And he's out and he's like, look, trying to do his thing. You know what I mean? He's a leader of the community now. You know what I'm saying? But he's still a real dude. These young people have zero respect. And they're on YouTube and they don't understand how the world really works. You see this young guy got choked out. That was not staged. You know, he lucky Mano didn't knock him out.
Yeah,
feel
think
me?
about how patient Mano actually showed right there.
And he's like, I'm finna do something to this cat. And
He
anybody
gave
who
him
knows
a
real,
warning.
yeah, put his hands on him like, bro, I'm about to do something to you. That's what that means, y'all. If you, for you young people out there, right? If you come talking stuff to somebody and they touch you, they letting you know.
Yeah, like a little.
I don't care about. I got my hands on you, bro. I'm letting you know right now I'm finna do something to you. I do the same thing. That's how you know I'm finna strike. Oh, for real? I'm gonna get close to you. I'm gonna lower my voice and I'm gonna touch you. And if the next thing after that, it is what it is. But you learn this stuff growing up. These young men and women, they don't know this anymore, man. So what's your thoughts on that? You think Mano should face some sort of legal action, like from law enforcement, something like that?
Hell no. If anything, the interviewer got off lucky. Let's be clear about that, because again, this is Mano we're talking about. I'm surprised the patience level lasted that long. You know what I mean?
You surprised you let him go that long?
And then let's be clear, patience level or not, I think I would have put hands on him the moment he asked that question anyway. The moment those words came out of his mouth, I think most dudes, like, why would you even?
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that? Like,
yeah,
that's what I can't register, DL. Why would anybody actually say that? Unless, again, trying to get content. But even then, man, that's the wrong way to do it.
That's the wrong way to do it. You have a lot of people out here who think they're safe because of the cameras. They think they're safe because they're in numbers. Like they're food. If you're a sheep and you think you're safe in the herd, yet the lions will get you in the herd.
Yep.
Y'all need to understand that. Like there are people out there who live by them rules. They don't care. You know what I mean? There's people out there like you get them there, they don't care. Right? There's like whatever, man. And y'all need y'all young people or you people who never went outside and played. Y'all need to understand that and quit. You know, we're gonna do this for clout. We're gonna do this for whatever. Like, bro, you might get hurt.
Bro, that
you might
dude
really
had
get
no
hurt.
idea of the environment he was really in. Like, he clearly had no clue what kind of environment he was really in.
And the worst thing is this: Mano got real dudes to be around him.
Yep.
One of his dudes could have took care of that. Right now, you ain't getting your clout. It ain't Mano. It's some dude you ain't never seen. And you all lumped up, you know what I'm saying? Man, these dudes will pick you up and all you'll see is the tip of his shoes as he's getting his head slammed into the ground, bro. You know,
But see, this is one of those things where, and I know a lot of people might not be familiar with Mano. He's definitely more local cat, but people got to understand, like, you're in a situation where they're going to treat you like press. You got the mic in your hand. There's a camera pointed. Mano's probably being already really chill more than normal, including his homeboys. Then you're already saying disrespectful crap. Then you say that, DL, and I'm like, I don't know, man. That would never cross my mind. That would never cross my mind to do something that stupid.
Never, unless I got drama, unless I'm looking for dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is how we gonna spark it. But I would never do nothing like that. But again, it goes to this generation. These kids, they don't understand. They can't even read body language. Like he didn't even realize what was about to happen to him. Like, bro, are you serious?
He got more comfortable with his words. Like somehow he got more comfortable.
I mean, that's the world we live in. Miss AKA lady, you still need to keep your personal credit together. A lot of folks think that they can start an LLC and have a fresh business card. Bank still pulls personal credit. Yeah, on the first one. I agree with you. You need to have your personal credit together. Absolutely. Yep. Your credit score should be, I mean, you should be somewhere between 670 and 770. I think is where you want to be. Anything above that is just bragging. Anything below that, you know what I mean, is like a problem. Because higher rates and stuff like that. Yeah, we all have issues. It is what it is. But once that first LLC, yes. But the rest of the money, the rest of the corporate money will come from that LLC once you've established it and taken care of it. Now you can link that to other businesses. You feel me? So we definitely could talk about that, yo. I mean, it's just the way people ain't think. People are thinking like, I'm just gonna go out here and give me a 9 to 5 and I'm gonna make it. You can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Brother Dino has a good point here. You're one illness away from bankruptcy in the USA, sadly. We need universal health care. Yeah, we need universal health care, but you're right. Or we need to stop thinking that a corporate gig is going to save us. Brother Helka's system that was never designed for the worker. This is what we're talking about. You have to be an owner or investor. And that's kind of like what Terus was talking about. Sister Candace, like flagrant. Yeah, I had to put it up here. We had to talk about. I get it, but it is what it is. Like I said, I respect Schultz. I don't have a problem with Schultz. I bumped into him. I know people who know him. The rest of these guys, nah. You know what I mean? Nah, I ain't rocking with them dudes. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, and Charlemagne was talking about Mano, like, yo, this is a real dude. And let's watch a little bit more of this. Let me pull this up one more time. We watch a little bit more of this video.
Why would you say that to anybody? But why would you say that to Mano?
These young kids, man.
You don't know none of Mano's history, bro?
Look, so this is a vertical video that someone posted on their story. Look. He just choke slammed him, just held him on the bar. That's talking shit. It was crazy.
Mano is an OG from Brooklyn. Mano did not survive 10 years in prison, survived the mean streets of the Brooklyn in the 1900s to be playing with no TikToker YouTuber.
Yeah.
And why is your line, how fast do you think I could beat your ass? That's a threat.
Yeah.
But I think that I
just like I was saying, bro. That's a threat. Ain't nobody playing. You heard what Mano said? Man, I ain't playing with you. You don't know me. Don't do
And
it
you say
again.
that standing that close to me?
And here's the thing, Mano probably realized like this dude ain't a real threat, so I'm not going. Mano could put him to sleep, bro. Either with a punch or just grab him up, you know what I mean, and just put him to sleep in the chokehold or something like that. Break his neck if you wanted to. Y'all need to look at Mano. That's a massive dude. And like I said, he's a warrior. You know what I mean? Like people like, oh man, you know, get off the man. You riding the man, you know, what? Look, bro, I'm giving the man his respect.
We talking
You know what I'm
about, and at the end of the day, this situation justified to put hands on this dude because you just first off, you're already violating his space. He already gave you a fair warning. You get close, your mouth is already getting reckless, and then just say, let's be clear, you make a threat like that. You're surprised. I'm surprised that's all that happened to him. He's lucky that's all that's happened to him.
For real. He should be. And they went on to talk about some other stuff. I want to get your take on this next bit right here.
I've seen another kid do this or he does this, and it's the same kind of line.
Stop doing that. You will get killed.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad can I beat you up?
You say it to me, I'd be like 9.
Don't do it to nobody. You know, he could do that to a random person in a grocery store.
This is what I like about what Mano did, is that he knows.
Real quick, I just want to stop it real quick. Did you hear what Akash was saying? If you asked that to me how many minutes, I would say like 9. I hate these self-deprecating dudes. I'm a coward and it's okay. I hate that. I don't care what your size is, man. Like Bushwick Bill said, man, size ain't shit. It's not if you lose or win. It's the fact that you're willing to stand up for yourself. Oh, I hate them type dudes.
Who's the guy's not going to try to beat him up? He understands the jig. The jig is this a TikTok, right? But the point of the TikTok is to kind of make the person being interviewed look pussy. So he's like, you're trying to make me look pussy and you have it on video. So I have to demonstrate in some way I'm not pussy.
Let me tell you something about Mano.
I don't
Mano's
even think that was
evolved
going through
person.
Mano's
Yeah,
head.
he's evolved a lot. When I first moved up here in 2006, I learned quite quickly
how not pussy Mano was.
It's not. That's not that. You shouldn't even be saying those words in Mano in the same sentence.
I heard some of those stories.
Mano, and you know what Mano used to call it, and it's so funny because this is what he administered here: discipline.
Okay, what's the story?
That's what Mano would say. Mano was like,
I'm showing discipline to these young dudes. And they go in and they show a couple of other clips in this vein, like some other YouTubers doing something similar. And here's the thing.
Keep making stupid comments like that.
That's their platform. And here's the thing with YouTube. This is what YouTube has done. I think I spoke on this before. Maybe someone else has spoke on it. YouTube has become a conduit between worlds that would never meet. That would never, ever meet. Right? You got the far right and the far left. You know what I mean? You got, you know, the rainbow community, and then you got the homophobic community, right? You got the skinheads and the Black Panthers, right? And those are the extremes, but they kind of collide. These worlds collide. You got real hood dudes and these soft guys. So when you look at Flagrant, right? Their platform. They'll get guys in there who's done like been to prison, done all that kind of stuff, you know, shooters, trick, you know what I mean, goons, whatever. And they'll also have business guys on there. You know what I mean? They'll have like guys who are running, like they'll have Mr. Beast on there. You know what I mean? So they don't understand the world. They got a black guy on here. Just black. I don't know who the black guy is on Flagrant, But I guarantee you, he ain't got no hood in him at all. He ain't never been to the hood. The white dude sitting on the couch between Charlemagne and the other black guy, he said it later on in this video. I didn't know it was that easy to get somebody to want to fight you. What? Like, where did you grow up, homie? You didn't know it was that easy.
Oh boy, we got some people lacking some self-awareness.
I don't even think it's that. It's just they come from bubbles, right? They don't have this in that world. Schultz comes from that world. Schultz probably didn't see
be a TikToker. I mean, and I know I don't keep up with that too much, but if you're going to be an interviewer, you're going to act like an interviewer, and you're going to be in that environment. Don't you think you should know who the hell you're talking to?
do some research.
Minimum, that's the standard, right? Know who the hell you're talking to.
Do some research and just ask questions. They had a guy on here on their show. Again, I don't watch Flagrant. It's just when I saw this, it was some other clips that came up. There's a white guy who went to prison for marijuana sales, right? So I guess he was kind of plugged up and whatever. So they're talking to this white guy, and it's like a regular run-of-the-mill looking white dude who did time in Idaho or something like that, or Washington or something. Oh, he was somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. And he was telling, this is what jail is like. This is what the county jail system is like. This is what the pen is like. You know what I mean? And they're like, they're trying to talk, and he's trying to explain to them how the system works. And then they're saying silly stuff like, oh, you know, they got the booty bandit in there, and weren't you worried about this in there? And it's like, bro, listen to what this man is telling you. But again, their audience is so far removed from that world, that type of violence, that maybe they don't want to hear the true story. Maybe they want to keep it light. But this is what YouTube does. YouTube brings all these people together, right? And then you like, I'll say this and then I'll let you go. I know you guys see me when I say I'll let you cook. But it was Math Hoffa who said this. Math Hoffa, if y'all don't know who he is, look him up. This is like a battle rapper. This dude, again, a New Yorker, big guy, you know what I'm saying? In the streets, who was doing his thing when he was younger. Now he's a respected businessman. His platform is one of the biggest growing platforms on YouTube right now. My expert opinion. It's a great show. He's making money. He's doing his thing. He had some troll early on talking mad stuff, saying things you ain't supposed to say. Math Hoffa is from a world like, I'm going to take you at your word. You saying what? All right. Math figured out where the guy lived and pulled up to the man's house. Sent the man a DM with a picture of his front door, like real time. I'm out here right now, man. Come on out. And then the troll was like, oh no, this is just you. Oh no, I'm just da-da-da-da-da. Y'all don't know who y'all dealing with. What if Math didn't even want to send you a message? Because that's evidence. What if Math just sat there and waited for you to come outside and did something to you? That's the world I'm from. If you say something to people, they might believe you and they're going to come see you. But again, this is what YouTube has done, man. So go ahead. I know you wanted to cook.
No, I actually I agree with everything you said. People got to understand, you might be able to be reckless at the mouth, but the one thing you don't do is make threats, because people react differently to threats. Some people, especially in this country, we gonna come find out if you're serious or not. We want to know.
They want to know. It might be something as simple as, hey, what's up? Let's meet.
Yeah.
Or they might just do what Mav did. Find out where you live. Yo, who is dude? Where he stay? You can figure out where I be at if you watch my platform. It's not like I'm hiding. I say enough. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know what city I'm in. Y'all know where I kick it. You know what I mean? Y'all know what cities I go to. You can find out. If I'm going somewhere, I tell you, I'm going to be in Miami. I'm going to be in Dallas. I'm going to be in Atlanta, whatever. You can find me. I ain't nobody, ain't no big thing. You know what I'm saying? But you can find me. You know what I mean? I understand that. I'm never going to say something on this platform knowingly just going to put myself and my family in danger. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, stuff slip out.
I never understood that. Like, I get people getting heated arguments, but why are we over here threatening people and threatening family members, or again, like this TikToker unaware of his surroundings? You're going to stand up to a guy like Mano and threaten him standing right there?
As is the dumbest thing in the world, bro. It's the dumb. And again, people just don't think. Again, they don't think about it. They don't come from that world. They've never seen any violence. Hell, like I said, most men today haven't been punched in the mouth. They just haven't. You ain't never been punched in the mouth, then you probably ain't gonna understand all this kind of stuff. And I get it. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Sister Candace, she was like, oh snap. And then she said, play stupid game, get stupid prizes. Absolutely. And again, brother DL, people don't know how to read social cues because they are hiding behind keyboards. Facts, Sister Candace. Facts. And, and she said males versus men. We talk about that all the time. There's always a threat of violence amongst men. True. That is true. And if you're not raised amongst men, you don't understand that. That is a fact. I can't tell you how many times I had to put my hands on people growing up. I ain't talking about recently. I'm just growing up because they didn't realize that I come from a world of violence and that's how we deal with stuff. You know what I mean? That's just how we deal with it. What? You just grab them. And the look in their eyes, they get, so what's going on? I don't know. And they always say why. They say why as you doing what you doing to them. I always thought that was funny. Brother Dinosaur, 2012 Will Smith slap reporter who kissed him on the Men in Black 3 red carpet. Yeah, Will likes to smack people. He likes to smack people. At least that's justified. Miss AKA lady, depends on the institution. You're referring to a non-resource loan. Okay, back to the loan stuff, which doesn't require a personal guarantee. Those loans can be rare with traditional lenders. Yeah, but they're out there, man. The stuff that I learned from the 1%. I know how they move the money. I know how they do it. And I know that there's corporations out there you can't track back to a human. You can't, especially in the political game. You know what I mean? Again, it goes back to that, Citizens United.
Corporation after shell corporation after shell corporation.
After shell corporation. It's hard. And then you finally track it down to an address and it'd be a P.O. box somewhere. Like it has a hard address, 1545 Maple Street. It's a little box on Maple Street in somebody's little, shop or whatever.
They don't even know what you're talking about when you show up.
Oh, we got boxes around the corner there if you want to go there. Oh, here it is, 1645 Maple Street inside of this UPS store. You know what I mean? But that's the game. Learn the game, people. Learn the game. And guess what? When one of the companies go bad, you make a dumb decision, you separate that company from everything else, you file bankruptcy. You know what I mean? Like man, look, shout out to Ray Reynolds. He's always talk about that. He had this thing incorporating you. Ray Reynolds, look him up. You know what I mean? That dude was he was running a finesse, man.
But to
legal finesse.
Miss Lady's point, though, unfortunately, there's too many people who don't have a handle on their personal finance to level up to business finances. Y'all can't even budget correctly.
Because we were never taught, right?
Some people never taught. Well, I guess
I know I wasn't. Taught. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm horrible with it, bro. Horrible. I struggle with it.
Man, you gotta learn it.
And yeah, you do. You obviously I figured out enough to get to this point, but still, it's like, man, I sat back and I thought about how much money I lost, and then I had to stop thinking about it. Like, gee, I lost so much money, so many opportunities. You gotta let it go and just move forward, and that's where we are right now. Casual Germ, what's good, fam? How you feeling? I said the same thing, DL. Right? You know what I mean? Let's see, Sister Rosin, common sense ain't so common as it used to be. Facts. You know what I mean? Exactly. And then Casual Germs agreeing with you. I know I'm a little bit behind on the chats, but you know what I mean? Miss AKA lady, the coolest and worst thing about the internet is the ability to completely unrelated folks to link up. For completely unrelated folks to link up. As good as it is, it's double-edged sword. It's bittersweet. It's good and bad. I love the fact that I met. Yeah, just like the Army. I met Brother Tarus because of Black Man. It was Black Man Unfiltered, right?
Yep.
Can't wait to meet the brother. You know what I mean? We're gonna meet on the Sunday when my Bengals is gonna be beating up on the Browns. Can't wait to be there. You know what I mean? It's gonna be cool. What? I'm just, it's fact, right?
Oh man.
We got Brother Tommy in the house, man. Convo and chill with Tommy. What's good, fam? Hey, Tommy. Hey, man, I got the link down if you want to jump up, man. I really want to hear your take on that Mano thing and what's going on with the internet, man, with these dudes. What's your take on this, bro? Like,
yeah, Tommy, hop up on.
You know what I mean? So yeah, and I'm just trying to catch up with the chats. They've been doing business for too long to be acting brand new. That's talked about Casual Germs. That's true. Brother Helka,
I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
You don't think, but by the time that interview had happened or the incident happened, how long do you think this interviewer, if you want to call him that, how long do you think he was in that atmosphere? Like, you think he was in whatever the club or the gathering, whatever it was? He didn't just show up, right?
No, well, more likely he had to be there for a minute. Because he has a camera guy.
You just didn't feel what was going, the environment, the aura, or anything. Like,
didn't know where he was, and he's sitting there like more than likely, and this is me just trying to think it through. He and his camera guy got there, and they're like, all right, they kind of set up and they're looking around. It's like, like Mano's coming in or whatever. You got to go, you got to maneuver to him. You got to fight yourself to the crowd. Y'all saw how big that crowd was. You got to get to the crowd. Your cameraman got to get in position, and then you got to go say, what up? Hey, what's up? I don't even know if he went up to him first off cameras, like, hey, man, can we ask you some questions or something like that? I don't know if they did that or if they just
rolled up on him. Yeah.
It was one or the other. But the fact is, it took time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just didn't just pop off. It took time. And again, you're not reading the crowd. I'm looking at not just like Mano is here, but who's with him? You know what I mean? I think he's from Brooklyn, right? So it's like, where Brooklyn at? You know what I mean? Like if I'm down in Atlanta, and I'm trying to holler at somebody who from the West Point, I'm like, or from East Point. I'm like, yo, where East Point at? You know what I mean? If I'm out in LA and I'm trying to holler at somebody that's like maybe loosely related to the sets, you know what I mean? Like where the 60s at? You know what I mean? Because this dude rock with the 60s. I'm an old dude. I think about these sort of things. These young guys don't seem to think. They just run in there. You know what I mean? Oh, they go E40. Let me run up there and say some foul stuff. Like, bro, does E40 have his family with him? Because if he do, bro, it's gonna be a problem.
Man, yeah, I still think he really should be lucky because he got off easy.
He got off way easy, and we don't know what happened. Like I said, Mano said, I gave you a warning. That's it. Now, hopefully, he's smart enough to stay away from it. If he was a real smart dude, he would have sent him a bottle with his apologies. Hey, man, I apologize. But again, that's another thing that they don't do, man. They don't say they sorry for nothing, which is crazy. Brother Helka, you're right, man. Size don't mean nothing, man. You're right. The Badger, you know what I mean? Whatever. Oh, here we go. We got the G himself in the house, man. What's good?
Yo.
Convo, relax and chill with Tommy B, man. What's good, fam? Welcome. Yo, what's your take on all that, bro?
I'm not even. You got to lace me up. I'm not even. I literally just hopped on the show, so I ain't even here with you.
Oh, let me run it back for you, man. Let me run it back for you. So I'm loading it up right now. So basically, a YouTuber ran up on a real street dude trying to do some stupid YouTube stuff, and he was kind of threatening the guy. And this is what happened. So hold on, give me 1 second. Let me pull this up, bro. It's and this is what we're talking about. Like I think it boils down to a generational thing. People not knowing.
Homie, because they did that. Oh no, this somebody else. No, they did a prank on one of the homies from the hood, and he shot at the motherfucking ass. That shit went viral.
It's kind of it's along those lines. So let's check this out.
History, bro. So this is a vertical video that someone posted on their story. Look.
It's not just with the video. Don't play with it.
So that was the end result. Let's get to where he, before what led to the end result. Oh, here you go, right here. Dude was just talking mad crazy to this Mano guy who, dude did 10 in the pen and all that kind of stuff. Uh-oh, I think I went back too far. Let's see.
Now it's time for you to relax. Because now I got my guard.
Oh, here it is.
Now it's time for you to rub like, hey, now you want to put his hand on his shoulder. Pause there for a second. First of all,
here we go.
Put on your chain so I can see how it feel. I want to see how it feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? To have on the chain.
This is when you should have stopped.
I gave you time. Now
You see how Mano put his hand on his shoulder? Pause there for a second, Mark. When Mano put his hand on his shoulder and gave him a little rub, like, hey, now you just chatting. You know what I'm saying? He's letting them know.
Yeah.
Now it's time for you to relax. Because now I got my guard up. The next thing you do, I'm going to take it as a threat, and you're going to get choked the fuck out. And for whatever reason, why was this his next thing to say? This is crazy.
Right? How badly, right? You think I could beat your ass?
Like why? Like why?
Yo, Tom, he asked the man how badly he think I could beat your ass.
Yeah, I seen blood. That's this little stitch. You go up to people and do that shit, and it's like I said, it's this generation where they just think you can't get touched. Like it just, and it's part of what we be talking about in these spaces about how like these cats, they come out of their mouth a certain type of way. You feel me? And it's like, we was talking about this the other day about how a lot of cats that come from certain spots just kind of have to get adjusted to this space because they getting disrespected by people who wouldn't disrespect them in real life. And the funniest thing about it is some of the most respectful people in this place is motherfuckers that come from that type of shit. You know, I tell motherfuckers all the time, like, I didn't come over here to be on dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Even with like the little weirdo beefs and shit, I'm like, bruh, I had like real life beefs where I came from. I'm not about to be on fucking YouTube beefing with motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even make sense to me. And when I say that motherfuckers think I'm trying to say that like to be tough or nothing like that, but it's like, no, bruh, like when we say beef, like my nigga, I'm looking out my window and checking my bushes before I go outside. I'm checking my fucking backyard and shit. Like that's real life shit. And when you talk to some of these cats when they going through some of these weird ass beefs, you can tell that they ain't never been through no shit like that before. And even though they try to portray it and this, that, and the other, you know, it's no different than some of these rappers. A lot of these cats on here is portraying what they saw from cousins, brothers, this, that, and the other. And you can tell because of the way that they move. I tell a lot of motherfuckers the most respectful place, one of the most respectful places you'll find out here is prison. Everybody moves a certain way. They actually have to adjust when they come out because people are so fucking rude out here. They'll bump into you, keep on walking. You bump into a nigga in prison, my bad, I apologize. Because it's understood what the consequences could be from that. Whereas when you come out into the real world, somebody bump into you, they just keep it moving, you feel me? And so we've gotten to this space. Like I had an issue with the Chris Rock thing. I heard you talking about Will Smith earlier. I had a different take on it than a lot of people. A lot of people was, oh yeah, he got it back, da-da-da. Here's my issue with the Chris Rock thing. You don't get to explain to me why you wouldn't fight this man. And then after that, call him a bitch. If you're willing to call a man a bitch, you better be willing to go fight that man. But what you did was you literally explained to me why you so much of a bitch that you wouldn't fight him. But then now you're protected by the powers that be that he can't come and do something to you. Now I feel comfortable to call him a bitch. No, you're the bitch. Because you literally explained to me, he's bigger than me. He played Muhammad Ali. I don't give a fuck. If I'm hit, you could be Mike Tyson. I'm swinging back. I'm not coming with no excuse of, oh, he's bigger than me. So you come to me with the excuse of why you wouldn't hit the man back. And then you disrespect him in a way that a man should have the opportunity to beat your ass. But you know he can't do that because of the powers that be. So when I looked at that while everybody was praising him for that shit, I'm like, no, you a whole bitch out here. And I'd have no respect for you now. You don't get to sit here and explain to me why you won't fight a man and then disrespect him in that type of a way.
My man let Will Smith, I don't care who it is, he let this dude smack him on the face on international television and then hid behind his First Amendment rights on Netflix to go fucking talk
Exactly. And you know what, Tyrus? I understood why he didn't hit him back right then. So I'm not even saying that he should have hit him back then. What I'm saying is you don't get to explain to me.
But Tommy, like you said, he didn't even check him on the spot though. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Well, but you know what? Because see, I'm gonna give him some bail. He's shocked in the moment, can't believe it happened, yada yada yada. I give him all of that. My problem is when in this same special, you explain to us why you wouldn't fight this man. And then you disrespect him in a way that if we was on the street, I'd beat your motherfucking ass. But because you know he can't do that, you feel comfortable to disrespect him. And that's what we're seeing in this on these internets. It's people who feel comfortable disrespecting people that they know can't touch them. Because if I could touch you, that mouth would be a whole lot more respectful. I tell people all the time, bro, most people aren't confrontational as they present themselves as. And I say this, and I'm kind of getting sick of saying this shit, but it was a moment in my life where, I was doing bully type shit. And I look back on it now as clown shit. I don't support it. It was stupid, yada, yada, yada. But what I did learn from that is most of you niggas don't want conflict. I was in the military slapping niggas' hats off, and they just walk away. I had water guns and would literally soak niggas, and they would walk away.
But Tommy, that's because that was the Navy, bro. That was the Navy. You do that in the airborne army, you're gonna get what you're looking for.
But hey, and you know what's crazy, DL? I had everything any of them niggas wanted because I was walking around. I was an idiot. I was walking around on base with my shit on me. So I mean, it would have just been to Stupidville then. But
it's crazy.
I'm just saying,
but you grew up. Like these Tommy, these dudes ain't growing up.
But what I'm saying is, what I learned from that is, these are the same dudes that I swear to God, if they was on the internet right now, they'd have chest puffed out. Oh, if you did that to me, yada yada yada. I did that to you, bro. Like when I was in the hood, we used to walk down the street and we used to flinch at people and just make them jump. Just literally just boom. Most people don't want conflict. If that had happened to us, you getting your ass beat.
It's on. We throwing hands.
Period.
Somebody getting beat.
So it's like so it's just a culture. Like I told you, I was hoping it wasn't that video, but we got a homies from the hood where they did a video and they came to the hood and they was I think they came like he was in the car and they came into the car like something like what's happening or what you doing, da, da, da. And bro was like, what? It was like, yeah, what's happening? And he jumped out with the strap and bro started running and he let off the clip. He ain't hit shit, but he let off the whole clip. Bro named DNI Mike. I don't know if it's still on the internet, it might be, but DNI Mike. They ran up on the car, he let the whole clip off on him. You know, because they and that's where they get into, where they starting to play with the people that they and that's why I said that's why you get these 6ix9ines and shit that are making these civilian people think that real niggas is something to play with.
Yep.
And what they don't understand, 6ix9ine got millions to pay for security. So let's remember when Mano came on the scene, one of the things that made him famous is because he slapped the shit out of that nigga on MTV and choked him out. And then remember he apologized like, you know, I'm tripping, yada yada yada. But he ain't somebody to play with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so now they starting to do like videos in the hood where they're faking like they saying a gang sign to somebody or whatever, and they provoking niggas. And it's like, bro, why would you even do that when you know what the reaction to that is gonna be?
That's like the videos. I don't know if y'all remember that a few years ago. These clowns would walk up while these dudes walking with their girl and try to hit on their girl in front, and then get mad when they get punched in the face. Like, bro, what'd you expect?
They had one recently where the dude snatched him literally from one side of the escalator to the other side. And then and then their thing is, oh, it's a prank, it's a prank. Where I come from, nigga, that ain't about to save you, bro. You still about to get stumped the fuck out.
It's a fade, you know. And it's last thing about Chris Rock. I don't know if you knew this or not, brother Tommy, but some years back on the Oscars, Chris made a joke about one of the people who received an award. Sean Penn came out and started talking crazy about Chris Rock. Like Sean Penn was the next presenter, came out, was talking crazy about, you know, Chris Rock. Now, y'all know Sean Penn, Tom Cruise, them itty bitty dudes, right? They little, but they got that, oh, they're a tough guy. Like, nah, they little guys, man. And Chris Rock, they was like, hey, did you hear what Sean Penn just said backstage on camera? And Chris Rock was like, I'll beat his ass. That was Chris Rock's reaction to Sean Penn.
But that's what I mean, sucker shit. Even the shit with Will Smith, I said from the beginning, I said, y'all can say what y'all want to, but if that was motherfucking Suge Knight up there, I bet you that joke when it came off his lips. See, everybody want to say, oh, Will Smith only did that because that was Chris Rock. Well, yeah, because nobody else has a history with Chris Rock like Will Smith has. Chris Rock literally went on the last time he was on there and talked shit about him and his wife. And now you on here again like it's good. Nigga, we don't like you. We don't fuck with you.
Yeah, the other perspective people forget is people fuck with Will Smith and not Chris Rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
people forget the perspective of, bro, you got a history. You and I specifically got a history. This is not about being bigger than you. It's about the fact you're the only one disrespecting my wife right now.
Exactly.
You know?
And I don't give a fuck what she doing to me. That don't mean you can do it. And I think you know, it's like even like Tony Rock coming out and he talking at like, you niggas ain't tough. You niggas been Hollywood, like relax. I know you from Brooklyn, but relax, nigga.
I can't say this about Tony. I know Tony personally. Like Tony gonna go ahead and try to do what he's gonna do, right? You know, still the height and weight. He gonna throw the hands. His brothers, they different, but like Chris, whatever. But I will say this, and we'll transition from it because the way I see it, that's a dead thing. You know, Chris got his money. What did he get, like 40?
I think he got 40 of them. Yeah, 40 M's.
Yeah, he got 40
you know they're
million.
gonna pay him for that embarrassment. So
Right. So it is what it is. He got 40 mil plus. I bet you they're gonna green light 3 or 4 of his projects. You know what I mean? No problem. So that's gonna be even more money. It is what it worked out for him. But since we got 100% vets on this panel, you know what I'm saying? I do want to say something before we wrap this up. What are y'all thoughts on Russia, China versus the U.S. You see what Russia's doing with the drones. You know what I mean? Being out of pocket. Yeah, America's definitely fighting a proxy war through Ukrainians, and Ukraine is getting all up into Russia's ass at this point. You know what I mean? So, and then China wants to make moves on Taiwan. Possibly Xi Jinping and Putin had talks over the past couple of days. And we'll start with Brother Tommy. What's your thoughts on Russia, China, and U.S.?
Unpopular opinion from a vet: chickens coming home to roost.
Mm.
We done run around this world. We done caused hell. We done did what the fuck we wanted to do. And it reminds me of like how the Crips and Bloods got together. The Crips was, they formed, and they started doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do and start terrorizing motherfuckers. And what happened? All them little sets came together and they formed the Bloods and they started fighting back. Same shit. Motherfuckers start like, we know this because we done moved around the world, but I don't think a lot of people understand how the world views America. They don't fucking like us. Yeah. They think we're pompous. They think we're arrogant. We're fucking loud. And we've all been overseas with vets. We are fucking idiots. See, what a lot of people over here don't even know, y'all don't even hear half the fucking stories they go over there. Y'all didn't hear about the story of the dumb motherfuckers that stole a taxi cab and set the motherfucker on fire to try to hide the evidence overseas. The motherfucker that went over there and raped the old lady. Like, we don't hear these stories, but we are. And I'll never forget when the COVID shit happened, and the motherfuckers was celebrating that Americans couldn't travel. If you went on Twitter, oh man, we get to go here without these pumping. Like, so I think we do such a good job in this country of marketing ourselves as the greatest and this, that, and the other. We don't even understand how we rub off. I tell people all the time, the arrogance we have that we think that you can't do anything that you can do in America anywhere else is if you talk to Americans, you think you can't get rich nowhere but America. You know what I'm saying? You think you can't live a civilized life but nowhere but America. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that crazy. But because we grow up in it, I don't think we really like see it that way. And then when you go overseas and you start talking to folks, you go, wait, y'all seem to be living here comfortably, happy. Y'all that's not what they teach us in America. They teach us that this is the only place you can be happy. Everywhere else, they're miserable. They just live there because they have to. Everybody's trying to get to America. And you talk to people over there that don't even have interest even visiting America. Like, so I think, to be honest with you, it's just, I think we bit off more than we could chew with the Ukraine thing. I think China and Russia kind of start seeing a weakness, especially because of how pussyfied our society is starting to get. And people got to understand, that's our society getting pussyfied. They still hard over there in China. They still hard over there in Russia. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason why Khabib is doing what he was doing in the UFC. Like, them boys wrestling bears and shit. Like, they hard still.
Right.
So, even though we have the money and the technology and shit military-wise where, and the nukes where, I mean, we could probably still set some shit off. The little brothers ain't as scared of us as they was. And like I said, we've done so much shit that it was going to come to a point where motherfuckers gonna be like, you know what, fuck them. And I think that's what it's coming to, where you have like Kim Jong-un was like, do something, and I'll send one of these motherfuckers over there. And it made America go, oh shit. Like, we ain't never got talked to like that by somebody, but they getting fucking tired of. I told somebody the other day, I said, you know what's funny? I can't think of one base from another country that's in America. How many bases we got in other people's countries?
We everywhere, bro. Yeah, we in Cuba. Think about
and
that.
You don't think the people over there feel a way about that? You know what I'm saying? Like imagine if we was going through Los Angeles and it's a fucking Russian military base, right? You'd be like, the fuck?
Or even British.
That's their real life.
Yeah. Just imagine there was a British army base there. Like, like the Queen's Royal Marine is right there at 29 Palms. He's like, what's this, bro?
And that's these people's real life. And again, because we're so coddled in America, and we're so insulated, we don't even think that way. So like a lot of times when I see these conflicts we have with other countries, I be like talking to people like, so what would you do if you walked outside and motherfuckers in military uniforms were shooting? What would you tell me? What would your response be? You'd shoot back, right? So how are they the bad guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody thinks about it that way because, again, the way that we market shit is they're doing this, this, and this. And we've already shown that they will lie our ass off with Iraq. We've shown that we'll lie our
weapons
ass
of mass
off.
destruction, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, oh, well, there isn't any either. Oh, well, Saddam Hussein was a bad guy.
Right.
So are you, motherfucker. So should we take you out?
And that,
Like,
you know what?
you know
That's
what
one of
I'm
my
saying?
big things too. When you talk about that, especially, bro, sorry to cut you off, but I just had to throw this in real quick. There were no Iraqis involved in the plot and in the attack of 9/11. Not a single one.
That
There were
was
a bunch
pure
of Saudis.
payback for a fucking man whose father was threatened. Not even hit, threatened.
Threat. During wartime.
Think
He was
about
threatened
that.
during wartime.
We lost American lives because your daddy got threatened. But nobody looks at it that way. And that's some sick shit, bro. So yeah, so my thoughts on it, to be honest with you, is just it's the chickens coming home to roost, man. It was kind of predictable that this was gonna happen the way that we just kind of waved our, I don't want to say that word on here, but we waved our shit around everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like we the big dog. Well, it's only so long you'll be able to bully somebody before they want to come back and punch your ass in the mouth to stop you. And that's what it look like they ready to do.
Yeah, just like Ice Cube said in that one song, my homie got shot, he's a goner, Black. St. Louis niggas want their corner back. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. We own their soil. So Tarus, we got that. And Brother Tommy, you're right. Controversial. I love it though. Tarus, what's your take?
What Tommy told the audience about the day-to-day military members' activities, 100% true. Let's be very clear about that. It's some of our reputations overseas. I was stationed in Germany for 5 years. Tommy's telling the truth. When it comes to the military strategy, unfortunately, I'm going to have to completely disagree. The United States has proven once again that we are completely OP. I want to remind everyone that even in a scenario where I agree with DL that we're fighting a proxy war in Ukraine with Russia, I want to remind the audience that in a world where that's true, the second greatest military in the world can't beat Ukrainian soldiers with US military giveaway. And you think they can fight us? Guys, did you not forget a few weeks ago when Biden was over there, Putin tried to launch an ICBM and that shit failed because their equipment is old as crap and isn't functional?
Now, hold on. That wasn't
North Korea blew up their own mountain one time when an underground nuclear test that went haywire, and that North Korea is always shooting missiles. Why? Because that's the way for the UN to give them more food, and then they shut up for a few years until it's time to get more packages.
Yeah, but Tarus, real quick, you said ICBM. Putin tried to launch an intercontinental ballistic missile. I don't think he tried to launch an ICBM.
No, he tried to launch like one of those test missiles.
Okay.
And the facility didn't even work.
Yeah, I believe that. Okay. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm like ICBM, like, boy, they've been that's a whole other kind of thing.
Hey, Tarus, I want to take this clear though, Tarus. Like, I don't think that they have the weaponry to win. That's why I said we have enough money and technology where I don't think nobody. And
Tommy, they don't have the training. And here's why I'm saying that. Guys, all Russia and China has done for decades is play war games on laptops and playing weekend soldier. Right or wrong, whether we agree, I know we both agree that the war in Iraq is illegal, but right or wrong with the war, at the end of the day, what does America have? Real world combat experience, fresh combat, fresh strategies. And guess what? War today is not fought in the middle of nowhere. We're not storming the beaches of Normandy. We're not yelling, ready, aim, fire. War is now urban and cyber. This is why Russia, despite being outnumbered the Ukrainian army, despite being neighbors to Ukraine, the reason they're getting their ass kicked right now is because you're seeing them use World War II strategies in 2023. Yeah, Russia got hypersonic missiles. Yeah, Russia got jets. Here's the problem. In today's warfare, in today's modern combat environment, it's about occupation. They're trying to occupy the capital. If you destroy Kyiv, you can do that, but guess who's got to pay for it? Oh shit, that costs money. So I can't just roll all those tanks that you saw rolling up in there. Guess what they did, Tommy? Nothing. You know why? What good are tanks if you can't shoot them at the skyscrapers? Oh, that's right. We don't fight in the middle of the field. By the way, can anybody mention who China's been with China's current military experiences? They can't even control Burma or Myanmar or whatever the hell they rename in the country.
Yeah, right now, to answer your question, right now, China and India over there by the Himalayas. They're fighting up in the mountain, but they're using sticks and swords and knives, bro, which is hilarious. I guess they don't want to go 100% conventional.
And so there's the thing. First off, let's remember that China was shocked that Russia even invaded. They didn't even know Russia was going to do that. Right? And now your number one ally is getting their ass kicked by the JV team on the international stage. Guys, I want you guys, if you don't believe me, open Google Maps, zoom out on the map, and I want you to find Taiwan on the map. I want you to look at the distance between the closest Chinese shore to Taiwan. That amphibious assault would make D-Day in World War II look like a training exercise. Do you guys not understand how much military manpower it would take for an amphibious assault for an inexperienced Chinese military? By the way, they can't destroy Taiwan. They need Taiwan for what? The computer chips, the semiconductors. They need the infrastructure. So once again, all your hypersonic missiles and all that crap, you can't even use it because you can't destroy, because everything on Taiwan is on the island. Now that you see Taiwan on the map, audience, I want you to zoom all the way up and I want you to go find South Korea. Oh, wait, that's nowhere near Taiwan. So China has to devote 90% of their manpower to even have a chance at successfully invading Taiwan. Never mind America. Taiwan, y'all forget that. When does America ever do anything by ourselves? Last time I checked, ain't we boys with South Korea and Japan and Vietnam and the Philippines and Australia and Singapore, all people who got beef with China? Aren't we boys with India, who's fighting an active skirmish right now with China? Did you guys not forget that the Mongols that live in the area that we're allies with would be more than happy to run up China through the back door? Pause. When in history has America done anything by ourselves? We are talking about China versus not just the US, but fucking everybody. We're talking about Russia, not versus the US, but against everybody. And they can't even beat our JV squad. Tommy, audience, we are not Georgia or Kazakhstan. This isn't Vietnam or Nepal. We're the United States of America. Our geography literally makes us OP. So unfortunately, the reason why Americans are arrogant and ignorant is because they don't have to be. Because no country is stupid enough to attempt to invade us, because our civilians are more strapped than our law enforcement.
There are 120 guns for every 100 people in America.
Like,
120 weapons. There are 120 firearms for every 100 people in America.
Russia can't even beat a Ukrainian military getting American handouts. You think they can fuck with us? Come on, man.
Facts. So, hey, Terrell's broke it all the way down, y'all. You're welcome. You're welcome, fellas. Thanks a lot for that. Brother Tom, you got anything you want to say, man? Any final thoughts where people can find you and stuff like that?
I'll be jumping show to show and shit. I'm thinking when I get back on, I'm gonna focus on my sport and shit, because this space starting to get goofy. I can't handle issues in sports, so I think I'm gonna just focus on my sports channel.
That's what's up.
No, I agree with everything that Taru said. I mean, that was my main thing when I said, even one thing in the streets they say, don't go to war until your money right. We just got too much fucking money, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, period. Like, it just, and then on top of that, like he said, the experience and shit like that, my main point was just somebody trying to rebel against us was going to be the obvious thing, whether they can win or not. I mean, even like going back to the bully thing.
We failed.
Yeah, even going back to the bully thing, it sounds good. Hey, punch the bully. The part of the story they don't tell you is you don't always win that fight.
Right.
You might punch that bully and he might end up beating your ass. You know what I'm saying? So, I agree with everything you said, Tyrus, 100%. But yeah, it was a dope show though. As usual, you got, different subjects than,
The
rest of
norm.
the space. So, I forgot you said that today. You don't even be that deep in this space. So yeah, that's why I like to, come over here and hear something different. But yeah, I appreciate you letting me up, and good to see you again, Tyrus.
Hell yeah, Tommy. Good seeing
Brother
you.
Tommy, you always welcome over here, bro. Salute to the Navy, man. It's salute to those gangster Navy sailors like yourself, man. And how about them Bengals, Tommy? How about them Bengals? That's all I got to say about that.
I ain't got no issues with them.
All right, brother. I'm gonna holler at you later, man. Thanks a lot, bro.
All right, big dog.
Peace. Trues, what are your final thoughts, man?
Man, I love talking military strategy, but while I was speaking, I just can't help but thinking about all the reckless shit us soldiers be getting into.
Hey, man, don't tell on us now. Don't tell on us.
Oh man, like especially a soldier stationed overseas, you know how many international incidents could have been. Let me stop.
Hey, please do. They, they might be looking for me in South Korea. I ain't gonna say nothing. Something might have happened in 9 Day Moon. I don't know.
Man.
But anyway, what are your final thoughts, bro?
Man, great show as always, DL. Thanks for having me on your platform, man. It's just today's conversation shows how everything is so interconnected. There's no linear pathway here. Everything is just, it's water, it's liquid, it's fluid. Something can be happening on the other side of the country and can have profound effects where you're at. Hell, we talk about it all the time, right? Russia invades Ukraine. All of us Americans are mad about the gas prices. That's the world we live in now. Well, guess what? This is an example of, social media does good and bad things. It brings people together. The bad thing is it brings people together. But we got to navigate that. And that's why we got to be able to have dialogue. That's why in real life, this is not what we do in real life. Conversations just go everywhere. You know what I mean? And that was an example of that. And I just really appreciate your platform, deal.
Hey, man, we're going to keep it rocking. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming through, man. Hang on the back. I see Tommy's still back there. Hang on the back, man. I'm going to close this out, man. I got some words for both of you brothers, man. Thanks again for coming through, man. So, yeah, man, listen, y'all. My final thought, not my final thoughts, but I never gave my take on, Russia, China versus U.S. I agree with Brother Tyrus and I agree with Brother Tommy B wholeheartedly. Here's the thing. No one on planet Earth can beat us. If every country on planet Earth were to try to take America, they would lose. I think you can go on Infographics. They do a pretty good bang up show on that very topic right there, America versus the world, and they show how America wins. We spend $700-800 billion every year on our military, y'all. Yes, we're getting soft. Yes, we're getting fat. Yes, we're getting stupid. I'm talking about Americans. Yes, that affects our ability to recruit and get, people who are suitable to serve in the military. Yes. But if we had to go to war, a real war tomorrow, the draft kicks in, we start training, all this wokeness is out the door, right? We have the weapon systems, we have the technology, and we can train the people, period. No one can be United States of America. I'm not saying that as a source of pride or anything like that. I'm saying it more for security. We got the biggest guns and the craziest people, right? Americans, we have such a thirst for bloodlust that we kill each other, right? Think about what we do to each other. So no one can stop us when it comes to the U.S., man. No one can stop us. As far as China and Russia, I don't know what they're planning on doing, but whatever they're planning on doing is not gonna result in a real war. So like I said, if it does, don't worry, y'all. Rest assured, no one can beat America. It's just about money. So let's catch up on the chat. Sister Candace was like, yeah, we everywhere. We sure are. The Russians are trying to recruit women right now. Wow, I haven't read that, but I can believe it. Because they're taking serious losses dealing with the Ukrainians. Casual Germ, facts. Casual Germ, in the war of attrition, Russia is king. In the war of logistics, the U.S. is king. I'd rather be in the latter, facts. You know what I mean? Brother Tommy, man, we be over there acting an ass. Yes, we do. And Brother Tommy was like, yeah, they definitely looking for him in Dubai. Like I said, they might be looking for me over in South Korea. We'll see. Sister Roslyn, great show. Thank you very much. I hope y'all had a good time. This was fun. I love this open forum. You know what I mean? This, you know what I mean? Open mic. We're going to do some more of these. We're just going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We talked about the whole fresh and fit thing and how Myron is able to articulate his opinion on different platforms and how other people should be doing the same. We talked about Trump, talked about Mano. We talked about the bank buyouts. I don't believe in bailouts. I don't believe in backstopping. I think we should let these banks fail, but it is what it is. Miss AKA Lady would definitely disagree with me, and so would Brother Tarus. And we talked about Russia and China. Thanks for rocking out with us, y'all. This was fun. This was fun, man. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I might even do a short. I might do a DL short tomorrow early afternoon, so I might upload that. But we're going to keep it pushing, man. We're going to keep talking, and we're going to show that everyone, no matter what bubble you from, we all have opinions, you know what I mean? And I ain't going to lie to you. I really like hearing what everyone has to say because I really want to know. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.